A very, very good morning and welcome to our day 3 and our final day of the 4th traceability week of GS1 Kenya. And we are happy to have you again today. So today we get to look at many other things. But before that, let's have a recap of having what we had yesterday. Yesterday we went through academia and we were in school most of the time with Mwalimu Joffrey. And we got to understand more about Wasomi and many other things that we get to do. Further to that, we also went to the hospital and understood more about GHCE, that is Global Healthcare Center of Excellence, and our systems and many other things that come with it. We also got a chance to have our doctor in-house, Richard Odongo, and a big shout out to you in regard to this. So today, before we begin, I would like us to just go through our etiquette one more time. We ask you definitely to rename your screen now that you have joined, and welcome once again. Include your company name. We ask you to switch to speaker view when we shall begin. That way, you're able to see the speaker on one side and the notes on the other side. Engage with us via the chat. We'll be very quick to respond, and at some point, probably bring it up at the panel. Ask questions. Remember to mute your microphone so that we are able to listen and be very considerate. Represent your company and do that very well. Today is the last day and our hashtag is Traceability Week. So we ask you to be attentive because it's going to be one long and short and sweet day for you to be able to understand what we have. So today I bring back Michael Munavu, who's the manager of Vumbuzi AI Systems. And of course, he's going to be taking you through the solutions that we have right behind me and understanding better by explaining what they do and how they work to make things better in your business. I had introduced Michael earlier, but I'll introduce him again as Michael Munavu, who's the assistant manager of Vumbuzi AI, or Engineer Munavu, who has been at GS1 Kenya for about 3 years and is very interested and enthusiastic into the systems and IT. Of course, when he's not doing this, I had mentioned Amapiano, but he's also a sports enthusiast, just like our first speaker, Joseph Olo. Welcome, Michael.
GS1 operates under the GS1 competition law caution. Strict compliance with competition laws is and always has been the policy of GS1. The best way to avoid problems is to remember that the purpose of the group is to enhance the ability of all industry members to compete more efficiently. This means there shall be no discussion of prices, allocation of customers or products, boycotts, refusal to deal, or market share. If any participant believes the group is drifting towards impermissible discussions, the topic shall be tabled until the opinion of counsel can be obtained. The full caution is available via the link below, if you would like to read it in its entirety.
Today, I'll be taking you through some very interesting concepts. I'll be taking you through the different systems that we currently have here at GS1 and more interesting AI systems that we're building at Vumbuzi AI. Now, AI actually means artificial intelligence, and I'm sure during these 2 days you've heard people mention it. You've heard people speak about how at GS1, in the different solutions that we're building, we're incorporating a bit of AI here and there. But this is becoming a buzzword, just like the internet was in the dot-com era, just like, the still things were in the industrial revolution. But I believe in this revolution, Africa, we are at the forefront. We are not too behind from how the West are moving, and GS1 is at the forefront of this. And this is why we built Vumbuzi AI. Vumbuzi AI is GS1 Kenya's dedicated engine for digital transformation, automation, and applied AI. Now, AI can seem like this big bubble that people fail to understand it, but I can break it down into this. AI is simply the automation of these very repetitive and boring tasks that you do on a day-to-day basis. Now, let's think of different jobs that we may be doing, the people who are in this call. You may find some of us are receptionists, and the repetitive tasks that we hate doing is picking up the phone and saying, hey, we are at this certain store, this is how much you're selling things for. If you're a developer like me, you might hate writing so much code to do the same basic things. If you're a finance person, you hate looking at long estimates, long invoices to just see the price. And this is what we are automating in this space. This is what AI brings. AI allows us to be able to automate this boring, long, repetitive tasks and allows us to be able to think, allows us to be more creative. And I believe the creative ones are the ones that will win in this AI race. So, over my presentation, I'll be talking about all the different solutions that we currently have at GS1 Kenya. Some of them have AI integrations and some of them don't. But all in all, they do have our standards, and that's a key thing. I'll start off with Hifadhi AMS. And I believe this is a problem where if you're a company, if you work for a company, this is a problem that you definitely face. Archive management. Think about the store that you currently have. Think about how many files there are. That's pretty hectic. Now, Eva mentioned that I'm hopefully graduating as an engineer. What that meant is, if I'm going back to school and I was trying to get my different transcripts, it was extremely, extremely hectic for me. So I had to go to school and I was asking for different transcripts. I was asking for the transcript of year one, I was asking for the transcript of year two. And the reality is, and I don't believe it's just my school, they were trying to look for these documents and it was extremely hectic. Now, can you imagine if they have a smart way of managing all these different documents? If they have a way of ensuring that the archiving is fully revolutionized, and that's why we have Hifadhi AMS. I'll first take you through the problem that we're solving and later the solution. What it does, how it does it, and why we are the best at it. Let me talk about the challenge. You can clearly see that even in your company, I'm sure you have lack of standardized identification. It's very hard for you to be able to know the documents for finance, here they are. The documents for retail, here they are. The documents for marketing, we can find them in this certain store. There's probably just one person who has all this knowledge, and if they're, for example, out on a leave, it's very hard for you to be able to find these documents. This leads, as I've said, to long document retrieval time. Just to get one document, I've probably even seen it in a couple of companies that I work on. Just to see a document, it normally takes so long. People have to scour through different offices, people have to scour through different folders. It's so long to get one document. The other thing is that the access is very open. And there's a security factor in this. Can you imagine if everyone in the company has access to the finance records? Can you imagine if everyone in the company has access to marketing records? Everyone in the company has access to product information, things that you haven't launched yet, things that you do not need your competitor to know about. This is a big problem we are seeing in the archive management systems that are currently there. We also have lack of end-to-end traceability. We cannot know who accessed a certain file at what time. Did they edit anything? Did they read anything? Did they delete anything? We don't have this. This leads to, as I've said, disorderly archive rooms. Now, this can be a room, this can be a folder somewhere, but it's so disorganized, which, as I've said, will now lead to duplication of records. People normally have, if they don't find the files, so for example, if I go to my school and they don't find my certificate from the first year, maybe it's in a room somewhere, but they don't know where it is, they'll probably have to duplicate it. This will mean that for one record, we have tens, 20s of the same paper. This does not make sense. So now comes in our solution. Hifadhi AMS is a very unique solution. It's a cloud-based system that allows you to be able to upload all your documents and you can store them in the same folders you have physically. So for example, you have marketing folders or material, you can be able to break it down into these different folders and you can be able to upload these documents and you can keep track of all the actions that actually happen in this document. The interesting thing is that we provide unique identification for these documents using some of our standards. The standard we use here is GDTI. It's very interesting because it allows you to be able to track each document uniquely. Since each document is structured uniquely, you can be able to find a document very easily. You can be able to search for it by the number, you can be able to search for it by the name, and you can filter and see the documents that are in marketing, here they are, and you can have access to them. The beauty of this is that you also have controlled access. What does this mean, you may ask? You can say, I'd only want people in the marketing department, people with certain emails to be able to access these documents. And when they do, we keep audit logs, we keep system logs. This means that anyone that does anything to this document, we can be able to track it. Anyone that reads this document, you can be able to track it. But think about the archiving system that you currently have in the office. Imagine if someone took your whole financial report of 2024, 2025 that you probably need, and they just go and burn it. It's very hard to know that person. If they conceal it properly, and maybe they will. But in this system, since everything is hosted on the cloud, we can be able to track who is doing what. We can be able to control the access. When we have full data, it's end-to-end traceability. So if you have this problem, which I'm sure you have, if you have not yet automated how you archive your documents, how you store your documents, how you group your documents, how you search for your documents, think about the time cost that you currently go through. Think about how long it takes to be able to find these documents. The GS1 standards that have been used in this are the following. As I've said, the first one is GDTI. And for your documents, this is very important. This is Global Document Type Identifier. We're able to identify each location, each document uniquely. The next one is the GLN. As I've said, in many companies, you'll find that different documents are stored in different places. We need to identify these places uniquely. And this is where the GS1 standard for GLN comes in. GLN is Global Location Number. It can help us track and say, this document is found in this store, this document is found in the other store, this document is in the manager's office. When it comes to assets, we can also be able to track this through GIAI, Global Individual Asset Identifier. Now that's just one of our solutions. I'll go through the rest, but I believe this is one that affects all of us. So if it does, make sure after the call, even in the comments, reach out and say, I need Hifadhi AMS in our workflows, and we can be able to come and set that up for you. The next system that I'll be talking about is Mali AI. And as I'm going through the slides, I'm seeing at GS1 and at Vumbuzi, we are building things that people actually need. These are not just problems we've come up with from the clouds or thinking about things that don't happen. These are things that people go through day to day. And when you're talking to even different members, these are the different solutions that they normally come to us with. I'll now move on to Mali AI. Mali allows you to be able to track all the assets in your company. Now, I've been to companies where they're trying to either sell off shares or they're trying to do different things. And the hardest thing for them to do is to value their assets. And they normally call valuation companies too late. And when they do, they normally charge so many millions. You can forego this cost by incorporating Mali AI into your daily workflows. This is an amazing AI asset management solution. You can be able to tell how many shares you have, how many laptops you have, what's the value of the laptops, when was the last time it was fixed. All this information from one dashboard in Mali AI. What's the challenge that we currently have that needs Mali AI? The first one is that we have lack of auditable reports. We cannot be able to tell, and in your company probably, if you're looking at this, you might not be able to tell how many laptops you have, how many desks you have. It's very hard for you to value the company because you don't know the value of the assets. This is what Mali AI is coming to solve. As well, you'll normally find that this laptop is supposed to belong to Justice, this laptop is supposed to belong to Allo, and a certain share is supposed to belong to someone. But if you don't have this asset management system built in, there's a lot of custodian mismatch. You'll often find that when you're going to look at Allo's laptop, he's using another person's laptop, and this is never tracked correctly. We also have high asset lookup time. If you haven't put this in a system where you can be able to search easily, but it's not uniquely identified, can you imagine for a laptop? If you're looking at a laptop, we normally have the same types of laptops, maybe in a company, you might be using one brand or the other. If you're not able to track each laptop uniquely via a certain identifier, it's very hard for you to be able to look it up, see its condition. And this brings us to our next point, which is depreciation management. Now, with assets, we know the reality. They normally do depreciate, and they normally do need fixing. And it's normally very hard to be able to do this if you don't know which asset you're looking at and how to manage it correctly. With Mali AI, you'll be able to see which asset it is and you can be able to set up a depreciation interval. So you can say, for example, with this laptop, we expect it to depreciate at 10%. And depending on the years you have, if it gets to maybe 40%, 30%, we can flag it and it can go for repairs. Now let's talk about our solution here at GS1 for Mali AI. Now the first thing is that we need to have unique identification of all the assets in your company. When I say unique, I mean unique. This means if you have 20 laptops that are exactly the same, we're able to uniquely identify them using the GIAI. We're able to also as well identify who's using that asset, have custodian tracking. So we can say just as who we identify with the GSRN, Global Service Registration Relation Number, is the one who's using this certain asset. We can also be able to track and say this asset will depreciate at this quantity, and you can be able to set it up such that repairs are able to be done in an easy way. And at the end of the day, since this is cloud-based and all this information is out there, we can be able to give you full reports. So if you want to do any auditing, you can be able to say, my company is worth 10 billion because you have 8 billion worth of assets, and you have data to back this up. This is another solution where I believe it affects all of us. I believe we're all in different companies and they have assets. Because when you go to the office, we sit on seats. When you go to the office, there's a desk we use, there's a dispenser there with water, there's a TV that's probably used to display some things. We need to be able to track all these things uniquely, and Mali AI offers that. If this is a problem that you're currently facing, make sure you reach out to us to be able to set up Mali AI for your current workflow. Now, the next product that I'll be talking about is a product that is being more and more requested for, mostly as we're moving to GS1 Kenya expanding its product base. And this is the GS1 Kenya API platform. This provides robust, secure connection to GS1 Kenya standards and solutions. Now, if you're a member here, you may know that we have a self-service portal that allows you to be able to generate GTINs, GLNs, GSRNs. These are all the different standards that you may use on a day-to-day basis. If you, for example, want to generate job tags, you can be able to do that through our self-service portal. But one thing we realized is that some people already have their applications developed. Some people already have their solutions developed, and all they want to do is they just want to plug into our system. Now, for those who are not technical in this room, I'll just explain what API means. In a couple of interviews, in tech interviews, this is one of the questions you get. What is an API? And an API is simply an application programming interface. Now, I want you to imagine two systems that are running side by side. Probably you have GS1 Kenya, and we have your pharmacy system. They're all running in the same route, but in different places. What an API does is that it creates a bridge for these two to be able to communicate. Instead of me taking the whole system that is GS1 Kenya, we can just be able to plug in and take what we need. And this is why we built GS1 Kenya. Because the challenge was, there are so many people who are currently using multiple applications. They've developed multiple applications, and they want to plug into the system without having to go through the self-service portal. You're finding that so many people have developed mobile applications, and they want to be able to plug into a system. So many people have systems these days, and they want to use JSON standards. We wanted to ensure that there was full automation of generation of these identifiers in real time to your product. Now, the solution is a GS1 Kenya API platform. This ensures that we have a standard return time for identifiers. Once you have our API keys, once you have full access, you can just be able to call our system and it can give you these records. If you need a GTIN generated, if you need a GSRN generated, if you need a GLN generated, or if you need even an SSCC generated. And I believe for the distributors, manufacturers in the house, this is becoming a law where you'll need to generate these standards. So instead of probably having to integrate or come to our system self-service, and you have your system ready, you can just plug into our API solution, and it allows you to be able to generate these things in a standard return time. we can now be able to not only have GS1 standards in our solution, but in multiple other solutions. In my presentation on day one, when I was talking about GS1 standards in retail and in marketplaces, our ask to the retailers was, and to the technology partners, was anytime you're building solutions, ensure you add these identifiers, ensure you add GTIN, GSR, and GLN in your standard systems. And how you can plug in and add these identifiers to your system is through our API. So if you're a technology partner, if you're building these applications and you've wanted to integrate with GS1 solutions, we've built a way for you to do this right from the get-go. The GS1 Kenya API solution is for you if this is a problem that you're facing. Now, this is a problem that is probably not there for many companies, but if it's for you, it's a big problem for you. The next solution that I'll be moving on to is a problem that I think all of us are facing as well. I'll now move on to DATEM. DATEM in full stands for Digital Access Tracking and Entry Management System. Think about the number of people that enter your office a day. Think about all the different contractors that come to your office and leave. Even if you have CCTV cameras, and I was recently told this, a CCTV camera will just help you to know who did it, but it won't stop what happened. DATEM can be able to stop this. You can be able to track and identify every person that is entering into your company in real time. Each of them is uniquely identified. We take the identification, and since we are registered in the Office of the Data Protector, we're able to track and have this data in real time. We can be able to know who accessed your premise, what time they accessed your premise, and what exactly they did. Let me talk about the problem that we're solving with DATEM. The first one is data privacy. As I've told you, most of these solutions out there are not registered with the ODPC. Currently, we are. It means that your data is fully private. The other one is loss of records. Normally, when I go to different companies, and I think I'm seeing it more and more these days, the officer at the door normally has a book and they're writing. They're writing, Michael came at this time to see this person. Michael came with this car to see this person. Can you imagine if that book get lost and someone during that time got in, stole something? It's very, 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 very hard to be able to track this person. Now, since we have these manual records, we normally have long checking time. We normally have a long line just because someone has to be able to write this. And finally, there's normally zero visibility on traffic analysis. As a company, you cannot tell, I'm getting more people from this company, I'm getting more people from this sector. You normally have no visibility. So what is our solution at DATEM? At DATEM, we've built a product that allows you to have your data fully private. We have fast checking time since everything is digital, and we also have full controlled entry management. Before an event or before something happens, you can be able to send someone a QR code. And with the QR code, they can be able to come to your premise. And when they show the QR code, since you already have it on the system, someone can know this person booked an appointment at this time. And we can check them in real time with one click. Think about in the different way, someone would have to write it down. This time, it's just one click and someone goes to the door. Because we have all this data tracked, we can be able to do traffic analysis and reporting so that we can know, as a company, I'm getting more people from this company and I'm getting more people from this other company. Imagine what this will do for your system. Imagine what this will do for your company. Imagine what this will do for your security. The Englishmen normally say, better safe than sorry. And I believe with DATEM, you're better safe than sorry. I'll now move on to a very interesting product that we have at GS1 Kenya and that we've developed internally at Vumbuzi AI. Now, if you remember, you probably have problems here and there trying to print the perfect barcode on your product. You normally have problems here and there when you go to the supermarket and they say, hey, we cannot take this barcode as is, kindly go and fix it. Maybe the bars are too high, it's too shiny, our QR code scanner or the barcode scanner cannot read it. And normally what you have to do is that you have to come to GS1 Kenya, or you have to buy extremely high pricey verification equipment to be able to tell you whether this barcode is market ready or not. At GS1 Kenya and Vumbuzi AI, we came up with Barveri AI, barcode verification done with AI. Now, this is one of our most proud projects that we've built. It allows members like you to be able to track in real time whether our barcode is ready to go or not. Now, here's the challenge. Barcodes normally print or scale badly and fail at scan. Now, I believe you've all been to supermarkets. And when you enter a supermarket, sometimes there's a long queue. And the long queue most of the time is because someone has bought a drink, someone has bought soda, someone has bought something, and the QR code is unreadable. And the cashier there normally has to type. Now, this is what supermarkets are avoiding fully. They don't want this. They want to ensure that every barcode that moves through the supermarket can very easily be scanned. As I've said, if you're trying to verify this manually, it becomes extremely expensive. The specialized hardware that normally do this are very costly. So verifying the quality needs costly specialized hardware. Imagine if you have a product, you're selling maybe drinks, and you've created a batch of 1,000 drinks, and they've all been filled with very poor barcodes. When you go to the supermarket, they're all rejected. What this means is that you have to go and have the cost of reprinting all these different bad barcodes because of how they are done. Now imagine a solution that could help you do this in real time with AI. What is Barveri in this case? With Barveri, it is very, very easy. All you have to do is snap a photo and AI will be able to grade your barcode instantly. You don't need any hardware. You don't need any high cost to be able to do this. AI will be able to give you a bit of context. It will tell you, hey, looking at this image, the height is too much. Looking at this image, we need a bit of white space for the scanner to be able to read this correctly. Now, there's a caveat to this. AI will be able to give you advice, but I'll still give you recommendation. If the errors are too many, please visit GS1 Kenya to be able to have your barcode verification done on site. But this allows you to be able to catch those small nitty-gritty errors that will be too costly if you go to the market directly. And if you don't have funds to be able to come and do it manually here, you can be able to use Barveri. So if this is a solution that you think, and you remember here, you normally manufacture many things, you manufacture drugs, and mostly if you manufacture big batches at a big time and you do this mass printing, you can print just one, take a photo, and the AI will tell you, hey, looking at this is probably at a 6 out of 7. The 1 out of 7 is because the colors do not match. Maybe this barcode should be black and you've put a red one. It will be able to tell you this in real time. And you can be able to upload as many photos until you're at a good place, until you're at around 90 to 100%, where you're sure if you go to the supermarket, this thing works. If you're a member, I believe this is something that you need. So make sure you reach out to us and we can be able to set this up for you. If you're in my presentation on the first day, I talked about customer care and how at GS1 Kenya, we're automating businesses with WhatsApp chatbots. Here comes now ZebraChat. ZebraChat are AI customer care agents for your business. Customer care is one of the things I said can properly be automated. Because in Kenya, we've stopped being, even in Africa, or even in the whole world, we stopped being a 9 to 5 economy, and now we are 24/7 economy. But the reality is, we do not have a workforce yet to be able to work 24/7. Now, here, just GS1 Kenya, someone might be able to, can ask at 10 p.m. when you're all asleep, how much are barcodes? Can I be able to get this for my business? Can I have ZebraChat into my business? Can I have Datem into my business? At GS1, we're not like other companies. We are there to respond to you 24/7 because we're using ZebraChat. Now, ZebraChat allows your business to be online 24/7. Now, let's look at the challenge that people who are not using systems like ZebraChat currently face. The challenge is that customer queries normally pile up faster than teams can answer. You're a manufacturing company. Can you imagine the different calls you get from suppliers? Most of the time, you have to put one on hold. And as I mentioned in my first presentation, I don't believe there's any business that currently operates without competition. And there's very low customer loyalty. If I call your business and your business does not pick up, if you're lucky, I'll call twice. And if you're really lucky, I'll call 3 times. But in reality, I'll probably call another business. So this cannot be something you're willing to slack upon. Fine. Also, support is normally limited to working hours. As I've said, the world is moving to a 24/7 economy, but our workforce is not yet ready. Currently here, our working hours are 8 to 5, but you're not naive enough to think people will only ask about GS1 services from 8 to 5. People call at 10 p.m. People call even at 1 a.m. if you're working in different time zones, and you need to be able to answer directly. Finally, replies are not usually connected to business systems. If you're here and I normally ask you, can you be able to know how many people are inquiring about soap in your company? If you're a manufacturer, are you able to tell how many people are inquiring about a certain product from the different questions that the customer care gets? It's very hard to know this, and it's very hard to then make business informed decisions based on what the customers are giving you. Our solution is now ZebraChat. In ZebraChat, you can be able to build AI agents that reply to your customers on your website. I'm sure you've been able to see that chatbot. Even if you go to gs1kenya.org, you'll be able to see a chatbot at the bottom there. And that chatbot is fully AI. We don't have someone at the other end replying to you. That AI has full context on what GS1 does. It has full context on the different services that GS1 offers. It can be able to answer that question best or even better than most of our people here. And that's the beauty of it. When you need anything at GS1 Kenya, you come at 10 p.m. When you go to our website and you click on that icon there, you fill in your details and you ask your question, you can be able to get an answer instantly. And that's the thing, instantly. Another thing that these agents do for us is that they normally connect to our business systems so that we can be able to have full context on what's happening. We can now be able to gather as well data to know. People normally call asking about this. This is what should make clearer in our website. And from that, we can be able to ensure that our communication is very good. Because in this world of competition, communication is the thing that will set us aside. This is one of our flagship AI platforms that I believe every one of you needs. Now, if I go to your website, some of you do not have that chat with us icon. This means that when you close the office at 5, you're assuming that your customers also closing the offices at 5. And this is not the reality. They'll come back to you, they'll be able to ask questions at any time, and the AI will give you full context. So if you want to automate your customer care, if you want to ensure that your customer care does not close work at 5 and is there 24/7 for you, reach out to us and we'll be able to set up ZebraChat for you. I'll move on to our next product. Our next product is Zimba CMS. Zimba CMS stands for Construction Management System. And it's not just any construction management system, it's construction management system that is GS1 standardized. If you're Kenyan here, I don't know if you had, but recently we had a building just fall down around the area. And this hasn't been happening just this year, it's been happening probably as long as I've lived. We normally hear so many high-rise buildings coming down. And it's normally very hard to say, this is the person that did it. It's very hard to be able to track whether it's bad cement that caused it, whether it's bad water. It's very hard to be able to track this. And this is why we're building Zimba CMS. I'll talk about the challenge that construction systems or construction people currently face. The first one is that these projects are normally so hard to track across materials, teams, and sites. If I go to you and you've probably built an office for your business, and I ask you, do you remember which cement you used? Do you remember which specific cement you used? Do you remember where the water was from? It's very hard for you to know. And when that building falls down in construction, it can be something very small. It can be a change in the cement you used. It can be a change in the mud you used. It can be the steel that you used was from a different company or not from this company. And if you're not able to track it back, it's very hard. You find that materials lack traceability from source to site. Now, I've been in a couple of construction projects, and you normally see that they normally just take things from the cheapest person. They're going to take one thing here, they normally take one thing here, and they never track all of it. With Zimba CMS, you're able to track all of this in real time. Finally, scattered records normally make cost and compliance very, very hard. These days, I normally see buildings in Nairobi being sold for 100 million, 200 million. And the question is, are you able to prove how much this building costs to make? As I've said, people normally just come and buy from different places and you don't keep track of this. So at the end of the day, it's very hard for you to justify, even to the investor, and say, hey, we've invested 500 million into this project and we believe it will give us this 1 billion. With Zimba CMS, as a construction manager, you're able to do this. Our solution allows you to be able to manage construction projects end to end in one system in real time, end to end fully. You can get a dashboard for your project where you can know this is when it started, this is when it ended. And these are the different tools, these are the different materials, these are the different people who've worked on this project. Can be able to do appraisals. This system is for you if you're doing anything in construction. You can be able to trace materials and equipment using GS1 standards. This means that it's fully unique. We have unique identification of people, of materials all across the system. It's very easy for you to know how many hours did Michael clock in and where exactly did he work in this certain project. So if something fails, you can be able to trace all the way back and be able to understand what is happening. Finally, we centralize your project data for tighter control. Since you have this system online 24/7, when you're going to buy some cement, when you're going to buy some water, you can be able to track in real time and say, hey, I've bought this cement, this is the GTN of the cement, this is expiry date, and I've bought it for this amount of money. So at the end of the day, you can be able to know how much you've spent on your solution. So if you're a member here who is probably looking to upgrade offices and you're looking to build a new office and you need a construction management system that is fully tied with the GS1, these are the different services that we can be able to offer to you. We can ensure that from one dashboard, you can be able to know exactly what is happening in real time. Now I'll talk about Thamani Butchery. If you were in our first presentation, you realized, I'll talk about Thamani Butchery. Now, if you were in the presentation yesterday, you'll realize that we talked about Thamani Dawa. Now, Thamani is a word we use here in GS1 Kenya, and it means value. We're giving value to the butchery. We want to ensure that there is farm-to-plate livestock traceability. Now, what's the challenge that these people currently face? The first one is that it's normally very hard to track meat back to its source. And meat is one of those things where if you eat the wrong one, and if you eat, and I believe in Kenya we've had cases where people eat donkey meat, people eat meat that they're not supposed to eat. Just because you go to a butchery and you know that the meat is good, it's very hard for you to be able to trace back and know this meat came from this location. Our system allows you to be able to track this meat directly from its source. Supply chain gaps normally make outbreaks hard to track. Assume there's an outbreak in a certain animal or in a certain slaughterhouse. It's very hard to track because there's no system that's currently there to be able to track what's happening to these animals. What is it eating? How is it slaughtered? It's very hard to be able to do this. Finally, buyers can never confirm where livestock came from. In my first presentation, on the first day, I was talking about how it's very hard for people to be able to verify the origin of things. And if they can, they normally sell it at a higher price. But this is same with livestock. Currently, if I go to the supermarket, I normally find challenges. Because when I go to buy meat, I normally see South African meat is normally priced a bit higher than Kenyan meat. Now, can you imagine if that South African farmer is not able to confirm where this livestock came from? They cannot get the high value and the high price they're supposed to get for the animal. Now, what is Thamani butchery then? Thamani butchery gives an animal a QR code that is traceable when it's born. What happens when this animal goes out to graze? What happens when there's immunization to be done? You can be able to scan this animal and you can be able to put it on your phone. You can be able to put it on Thamani butchery and you can say, this certain livestock, this goat, when it was 3 years old, we immunized it with this. It's been eating only grass during this time. I'm sure you normally know that grass-fed livestock is normally sold at a higher cost. So if you're able to track this in real time, you can be able to know exactly what's happening. You can be able to track the animal's full health. If there's anything that's happening to the animal, you can be able to see it all the way back. And the amazing thing is that, same as with Shamba Connect that I believe you'll be talked about today, we are able to build food safety and trust with GS1 traceability. You can be sure that the food that you're putting in your mouth is food that is able to be traced all the way back. The animal that you're having for dinner has been fully traced all the way back. You're able to trust it with GS1 standards. I'll talk about Gala WMS. For most of our members here, I've visited some of your warehouses and I'm fully actually mind blown. I remember I visited my first warehouse this year and it was a really big warehouse. And as an engineer, I was thinking about the different intricacies, the different things people have to think about to be able to solve the problems that are there in warehouse management. In warehouse management, I can say I want the certain batch to be able to make the certain product. And if you don't have this automated, you'll just go try and look for a batch, which some of them are normally very high, and you might miss it. With Gala MS, we're bringing warehouse management that is fully traceable. Now, what's the challenge that's being faced? Currently, we have manual stock taking that currently occurs across warehouses. This means that there's so many errors and losses that happen in real time. As I've said, someone may say, hey, pick this batch or pick this product because you need to mix it with a couple and create these products. If we don't have a system where someone can be able to know you have this product in this location, we normally have slow picking and dispatch, which normally holds up operations. You can find that someone is taking a whole hour, a whole 2 hours, a whole 3 hours to be able to just know this product is in this location. If you don't have a system that tells you here is where this thing was placed, if you're not using GLN to know this is a store where this thing is placed, it's very hard for you to be able to pick things quickly. And because of this, we have poor visibility of what's going on in the warehouse and where. What and where? Where is this certain thing? And what is this certain thing? If you don't have the answer to these questions, I believe your warehouse management solution is not giving you what it needs to give. And I believe that Gala WMS will give you what you need. So what is our solution? Our solution is a cloud-based warehouse management system that will allow you to manage inventory, storage, and movement all in one system. You can be able to know, I have this rice. This rice moved from store 1 to store 2. In store 2, it was accessed by Geoffrey, it was accessed by Justus, it was accessed by Nelson. You can be able to move it in different places. You can be able to understand who accessed it and where it is. Now, if you have the answer to where, it allows you to be able to speed up receiving, picking, and dispatching to all these different players. Since we use GS1 standards, you can be sure that we uniquely identify each product and we uniquely identify each location as well. This ensures that it's very, very easy for you to be able to track and trace where this certain thing is. We give you real-time GS1 traceable stock visibility. Stock visibility is something that is very key in the warehouse management space. And with Gala WMS, you can be able to get this all in one platform. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. I hope by listening to it, you've been able to understand and pick, hey, I normally have this problem in my company. I normally have this problem in my warehouse. I normally have this problem where people are calling at 10 p.m. and I'm not able to pick up. I hope you see that at GS1 Kenya, at Vumbuzi AI, we're able to help you solve this problem. And here's the beauty. We can be able to build custom solutions for you. Doesn't just have to be the products that we've talked about, but anything you think about. Our ask, as I finish this, is that you just bring us one process that you feel is too hectic. Just one, not two, just one. And we'll show you what AI and GS1 standards can do with it. With that process, we'll be able to build around it, we'll automate it, and we'll apply AI. This will allow the people in your company to think more creatively, to be able to do things that actually need human input. And the things that AI can do, let it do because it can do it very properly. Thanks so much for listening to this presentation. I hope that that some of you reach out and say, "Hey, Michael, I really liked your presentation. My company normally faces this problem, and I'm sure you can solve it for us." Hey, Michael, this solution that you talked about, I believe is something that we need in our company, and it can really help us. Thanks so much for listening to this presentation. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you so much. I'd like to now
So we begin with Rhoda. Welcome back and welcome to our second and most exciting session. We now want to go to the shamba and we want to go to the farm. But of course, before I go on, I would like to introduce to you our first speaker today, who is going to be in this particular session on terms of agribusiness. And we're going to be talking about building intelligent food value chains. And it is to discuss how GS1 standards support farm to fork. Our first speaker for this session would be Rhoda Mose, who has been with us at GS1 Kenya for more than 4 years. Rhoda holds a degree in software and development, but she has a passion to be in the farm. So she also deals with this in terms of AI in regard to our theme. Rhoda is very bubbly, intelligent, and one of the few characters that you'd find can multitask more than 4 tasks at a go. When Rhoda is not busy in the farm or working on software, I think Rhoda would have been a blogger or a social person. So tap the screen for Rhoda and give her her likes. Welcome, Rhoda.
GS1 operates under the GS1 competition law caution. Strict compliance with competition laws is and always has been the policy of GS1. The best way to avoid problems is to remember that the purpose of the group is to enhance the ability of all industry members to compete more efficiently. This means there shall be no discussion of prices, allocation of customers or products, boycotts, refusal to deal, or market share. If any participant believes the group is drifting towards impermissible discussions, the topic shall be tabled until the opinion of council can be obtained. The full caution is available via the link below, if you would like to read it in its entirety.
Thank you very much, Eva, for that beautiful introduction and also for introducing our today's topic on building intelligent food value chains and how GS1 standards are being used in the modern agribusiness. I'll start us off with a national perspective on how agriculture is faring according to the economy's GDP, whereby 22.5% of agriculture economical value is contributed to the GDP. This means that we play a huge role when it comes to making our own economy move forward. But the question is, who partakes in this? Apparently, farmers constitute to the same, with 73% of them being small-scale holder farmers and 23% being large-scale holder farmers. They do different agricultural value chains, and these include livestock, tea and coffee, fruits and vegetables, and even floriculture. And for now, I'd like for us to focus in this specific presentation on coffee. So take a seat, grab your pen and paper, and let us learn more. So up next, we're going to view a very beautiful video courtesy of Gold Rock International for us to understand the current challenges that processors undergo every day when they receive coffee from different cooperatives, from different farmers, and how we as GS1 Kenya are trying to come in. Thank you and enjoy.
My name is Michael Okara. I am the general manager here at Gold Rock International. So Gold Rock International deals with coffee, tea, and leather. In relation to coffee, Gold Rock deals with both green bean and roasted coffee. So with the green bean, we source from either direct from the auction, from the cooperative societies, or direct from farmers. So what we record when we receive coffee, first of all, is the grade, different grades of coffee. Then we record the moisture content of the coffee. Then we can store it. Now, if I am going to roast the coffee, I need it to be at least not more than 12% moisture content. When it comes to the traceability aspect of this entire chain, what we do, it's a manual system. So what happens is I'll record the farm the coffee has come from, the location where that coffee has come from, and also if I can tag the farmer himself or herself, I record that. But normally it's a bit trickier when it's a cooperative society because the coffee is bought from different farmers. So we will just say this coffee has come from this particular region. And right now it's a manual system of traceability. We batch every coffee that comes into the factory. We give it a batch number. Then from there, depending on what stage, once it's received, it's batched. Then if it goes to the roaster will add his own batch. Then the packers, the same, they'll also add their own batch number. Each person has got their specific number assigned to them. So in case of an audit query, I will ask the customer, give me the batch number so I can now work backwards. So I know who packed the coffee, who roasted the coffee, when the coffee got into the factory. And if there's an issue, then I can now see where the problem arose, if at all there was a problem. We have a book where every coffee is recorded manually by hand. The form in which that coffee came, because we can receive green bean, we can receive coffee cherries, we can receive parchment. So all that information is captured. What sort of coffee did I receive? What grade did I receive? Is it AA, AB, PB? And is it Arabica coffee? Is it Robusta coffee? Because we also deal with both Arabica and Robusta. So all that information is captured. The weight that has come in, and then the moisture content that the coffee came in at. In terms of the challenges we face, since the system is a manual system, we are heavily dependent on the individual's recording. It's very possible that somebody can forget to input the data that's supposed to put current data. So we may find that what the person who has packed, the information he has could be wrong, could be outdated, right? Because we pack on order. And if that information is not captured, when it comes now to tracing the coffee, I wouldn't know when was this coffee roasted. I might have a wrong date. That's the challenge we face. Fortunately, it has not impacted our daily operations, as we have not really received any complaints since we pack on order and it's normally small quantities. That it's easier to maintain, have a quality control right now. But as we expand, obviously, it'll be a challenge that I foresee. GS1 supplies us with the barcodes. Like you can see, this product here has a barcode. And fortunately for us, GS1 has also, with each barcode, there's a corresponding QR code, which now we're going to start implementing in all our packets. If you see the previous packet, we did not include the QR code, but now we're going to have the QR code, which gives us more flexibility in adding information and traceability now, right from the farm to the cup, so that even the end user is confident of the product they're using. They can now talk to the farmer direct, they talk to us direct, and now they are assured of what they are consuming has been what you call the fair play in the trade of coffee, because there's normally that big issue of coffee having been sourced irresponsibly where there was no deforestation involvement. So this assists us with that. And GS1 will also assist us in now automating the system such that any coffee that comes in, once it has been tagged, a QR code, now what the people will be doing is simply scanning. They scan, next step. If it's roasting, it's scanned, next step. They're packing, they scan it again. So all that information will be digitized, put on the packet, rolled out. The future looks bright when it comes to traceability. It's exciting because of the information that we have at access. We use AI. It's a beautiful, powerful tool. Now, the idea is we are hoping that we can train both the farmers and our staff to take advantage of the systems available to us. For instance, with GS1, they have visited some of our partner farmers, tagged the farms. Now, that information is critical in terms of the coffee production chain. They can tell the farmer, this location you're at, this is a variety to grow. At what point do you need to add your fertilizer, your copper, your foliar, and also track down the weather. Because of global warming, the weather patterns have changed, meaning also the harvesting has changed. You can inform the farmer in advance using their phones. Tell them, so this time put this manure, and also the soil analysis is tracked by the system. So if a particular mineral or nutrient is lacking, the farmer is aware beforehand. Then that enables us to get good yield and value for the crop, which is very exciting. Also train our staff here on how to handle such interactions with the farmers. Because I'm sure some farmers, when it comes to the new system, they're a bit jittery. You train them as well. Walk with them. Like, this is what you need to do step by step, right up until the end. Also giving the end user, because at the end of the day, the coffee is consumed by somebody. You want that person to enjoy that cup of coffee. They can also talk to the farmer direct. Like, hey, I'm sitting in London, I'm enjoying your coffee. I'm told you're working with the Gold Rock under the Masai brand. Say yes. The farmer can confirm, yes, I am working with these people.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching that beautiful video from Gold Rock. And I know that you have grasped 1, 2, or 3 new words today in your vocabulary. Batches, you know who farmers are, so that cannot sound so new. So there's batches, there's GS1, there's a system somewhere mentioned, there's varieties, there's grade AA, grade AB, and many other grades. But all those Greek words, today we are simplifying them also in the agribusiness sector. And in this, you're going to speak basically on what happens in the coffee supply chain. We're going to start with the first person, who is the foundation of the agricultural and agribusiness trail. Who is the farmer? A farmer basically is a person who takes these specific seeds, plant them from a coffee perspective. They plant them. After 3 weeks, when they've already started leafing, they transfer them either to containers for them to maybe grow bigger, and then they harden them for planting now in the major blocks or even the farm at large. But when this happens, something in between happens. That includes inputs. They put different inputs. They get to water the specific coffee seeds and seedlings, and they also get to put fertilizers so that they can help in the vegetative growth of this specific coffee seedling and the bean. So when this happens, the farmer is basically mandated to make sure that this coffee shoots, hardens at the right time. 3 weeks planting, 3 months hardening, grafting after 3 months, maybe graft Ruiru 11 with SL24 because of the disease and pests combating. And from there, they're able to transfer them to the farms in the blocks. So this means when they have already been planted at the farm, they have to grow. When this coffee grows, it takes approximately 1.5 years, and then you are able to get 1.5 kilo from each tree. And when this coffee is harvested, different farmers take them to different cooperatives. For now, you already know that farmers operate in small scale quantities. This means 5 acres of land and maybe below. And for them to be able to utilize the necessary resources that they have to take this coffee that they have harvested to different cooperatives. The cooperative is basically mandated with processing and being able to aggregate different coffee from different farmers of different regions. So this means a region like Meru or Muranga is able to aggregate coffee according to the words that they have. Maybe one cooperative, one word, and then from there, they're able to take this coffee through either the beans, the cherry beans, they're able to be naturally processed. This means that they're put into plastic or nylon sacks, and they get to be exposed to low oxygenated areas for them to be basically naturally fermented with the mucilage on top and the skin. This makes the coffee itself sweeter, have a winey taste, and then it's kept for 36 to 72 hours. The other process that they do is now the wet milling. At the wet milling, the coffee itself is pulped after sorting. They sort, they pulp it to remove the outer skin. From the removal of the outer skin, they take this specific coffee, ferment it for a couple of hours. From there, they get to wash it. After sorting, they pulp to remove the outer skin. They get to ferment it so that they can remove the mucilage, now the thick skin between the outer skin and the bean itself. They get to wash it. During the washing process, they get to grade it according to density. This means that the coffee that has the greatest density, that is the P1, it goes lower using the wash process, which means that it has a good quality. The one that's slightly lighter, it goes as parchment 2, and the one that's most lighter, it goes as parchment light. So this coffee, after the wash process, it's taken out at the drying beds, and it is dried out there for 20 to 21 days for us to get the required coffee bean variety and also for it to be of good quality. So when this coffee, one of it is naturally processed, the other one is basically taken out there, done the wash pulping process, that is the wet milling, and the other one comes directly from the coffee farm because it's called as mbuni, is termed as mbuni, and then it's dried. That is the coffee that basically comes in as not of good quality. Maybe it had some mishaps during the growth and things like that. So when this is done, the cooperative has to sell their coffee, be it in bulk, be it in small quantities. So they look for a dry miller. This is a person who is responsible for the bulk processing of the coffee that comes in, either from a large-scale coffee farmer who constitute to maybe the 30% and have large estates. So when they bring this specific coffee as a large-scale farmer or from cooperatives, the dry miller is responsible in packing this coffee, putting them in warehouses, and also being able to do value addition on the coffee. This means they're able to roast it according to medium, dark roast, or light roast, and also to grind it and sell it out there. So here is where most of the retail work is done, and the coffee gets to be sold out there. This same coffee can also be taken to the National Coffee Exchange, whereby the coffee is sold to different exporters who are interested in good grade coffee from Kenya. After this, the coffee is shipped using the logistics and it gets to you, the consumer, who is mostly legible for you to give the feedback about the coffee. But you know what? All of this tedious work, all of this tedious information and the fragmentation of the natural supply chain in the coffee sector brings a very crucial role Where does this information that the farmer has done 1, 2, 3 about their coffee? Where does this information about the processor, they have done a medium roast or a dark roast? Where does this information about the dry miller has been able to spread this coffee outside there for 20, 21 days so that it can get to the best quality? Why is it stored? I mean, we can check the whole supply chain. It is so lengthy, so fragmented. But then the question is, if this information was not stored by the first crucial person, the farmer, how is the consumer going to get it? As you've heard from Goldrock's video, the system currently is done manually, writing on books, memorizing, and even confirming batches written on pieces of clothes. I mean, clothes can be rained on. Coffee cherries can even be squashed. But then the question is, this coffee that has been recorded manually, the casual workers that work on your farms, on your fields, that we don't know about their age for us to know if they are doing the good agricultural practices, for us to even tell somebody out there who wants to finance your coffee production, how will we back up that data? How will we get to you if your coffee is so good and then we want to get more and require a different variety, a different taste? Here's the processor. How will we get that information? This poses another critical challenge: compliance. If you don't have any information that backs your processes up, how are you going to comply? Manual records, you want to check if last year you met the target for your harvesting records, and then you have to peruse through books, page after page after page. Oh, I lost that book. The cat ran with it, or even the dog ate it. How am I going to get all this information in a verified manner? And of course, there's a person out there who wants to export a lot of your coffee because it's sweet, it's organic. But then the question is, how will they find you? How will they know where your farm is? Or maybe you have been able to manage these records in a manual way, and then you take it to the cooperative. The question that's posed is, where is the traceability trail? Okay, we get to identify your lot by a piece of cloth or even a paper, and then you say it's lot, for example, 7832. Then the specific grade, it's grade AA. But who grew it? What inputs were put inside? At what point do they even process it? What specific sizes can I get from these specific processors who are giving me this beautiful coffee? What if I wanted a size E? What if I wanted a double T? Do you get the concern that we are here to address today? And even the most crucial thing, there's no information to show your farm information or where you're located in a digital way. I know technology poses a very great concern when it comes to farming and agriculture, because most of the time, you're expected to be out there in the field. You're expected to be out there in boots, in an apron, taking a djembe, pruning, you're weeding, you're digging, you're planting, you are busy. So you have to maybe take all of these records and remember them later during the evening. As it sounds, already that's a lot of work. Tiresome work for that matter. And this can be simplified because you not knowing your exact harvesting date because maybe you had a visitor over and then you forgot to record it, or even the processing information, the batch information that Mr. Michael has shared, that when coffee gets to the door, when they receive it from different suppliers, they have to give it a batch number. When it's taken to the processing part, they have to add another batch number because of things like sampling. They have to check the moisture content if it is 12.5 or 13%, or if it is even at par. When they test the aroma, the sweetness, things like that, they have to give it a different batch number. But then they have to record it down. When you're recording information, and you have to pass it from one person to the other, and from another person to the other. What if you just go and then you get a call and then you're told, we need you home right now? Maybe you're traveling to somewhere else. How will you get that information? Agriculture feeds 70% of Kenyans. Every day we have to eat. We don't have to postpone because we eat from January to January. And it is time that we get serious with the information that we put down and the information that we pass from one person to the other. And therefore, we have to share the transport records and the certification so that when a person comes in and says, I need your coffee, it is so sweet, you're just there like, here are my documents, let us sign a contract today. And I'm sure by next year, I'm going to be able to fulfill this demand. Because you know what? I have a traceable record of doing greater harvest quantities. And then it's going to be so easy for us. So we as GS1 Kenya, and now that I've become a very major favorite person that loves to visit the farms, that loves to talk about coffee, and that loves to talk about flowers and things like that, now I'm already assimilated to being a farmer. So you can refer to me as Rhoda Mose Farmer or Rhoda the Farmer, because we as GS1 Kenya are making it happen. And our role is to identify, capture, and share information in a way that you, at the back of your desk, is able to understand this information. We identify different entities, we capture them and the information in a way that you can understand, and then we share this information in an easy and accessible way that's verified. And now that during the Michael's video, you got to hear about GS1 standards in use. GS1 standards are unique global standards that are given to different entities for easy identification and standardization of information that can be easily be verified. Therefore, according to our specific value chain that you've seen for the coffee, I'm going to mention a few standards that you're going to relate with. I know some people have been here since the first day, and this is the final day, and I know that you're excited also to learn about coffee. And above it all, you're going to learn how these specific standards are being implemented in the agriculture sector. So the first standard is going to be the GSRN. When a farmer is putting in the work, they have to be identified. We need to identify the casual workers. Are they of age? What about the time that they come in? That information, the record, how they're performing has to be input down, but then it has to be matched against a specific individual. So the GSRN is a global service relation number that identifies the farmer, the farm workers, and everybody in the coffee farm that makes this coffee get to you in a good and quality manner. The second thing that you get to identify is the location. I know you've come across this term a lot of times. The global location number. We identify the farm itself, identify the cooperative where the farmers take this bulked coffee. We identify the wet milling processes. We identify the drying areas. We get to identify the dry millers, in this case, Gold Rock, and you outside there who is also doing processing of coffee. You get to identify the specific warehouses, specific rooms in the warehouses. You get to identify the exportation locations so that when this coffee gets to you, you are sure you can verify at what location was it processed, who handled it at the first time, which farmer, because now you've already identified the farmer. So you can reach out to farmer Juma and say, hey, Juma, I loved your coffee. Is it possible for me to get a different variety to try it out? I mean, it wouldn't hurt for you to get access to that information. The next thing we identify is the Serial Shippers Containers Code. Serial Shipping Containers Code, SSCC. It is used to identify shipments and consignments. This means this coffee has to be transported specifically from the farm to the cooperative, from the cooperative to the millers, from the millers to the warehouses, from the warehouses up to you, consumer. And SSCC basically enables us to identify the same uniquely. So imagine your coffee, the farmer is identified, where he grew the coffee is identified, whatever they used to bring the coffee to you is identified. Ain't you excited about it? I mean, you already have all this information at just a click of your smartphone. And it's going to be excited. You're going to be excited. I'm going to be excited. I'm already excited because we're already doing this. And another thing that you get to identify is the assets that you use at your farm, crates that you count for them to deliver this coffee, the sacks that you need stickers on. And we identify it using the Global Returnable Asset Identifier. See, this means that your inventory is also covered because also the individual assets that you have, be it wheelbarrows that you use on a daily operation, be it the access all of them. Your inventory is also covered. And all this information is not just written somewhere the way you write it in a way that the processor won't understand. It is standardized and very verifiable because we have to visit your shamba so that you can understand where you're located. And then you get to identify the specific last mile products. You have been able to deal with your coffee in a beautiful way. You have grown it using specific nutrients. You have grown it using specific fertilizer. You've watered it at the specific time. This sweet coffee of yours, which are ripe, you have delivered it to a cooperative. They've done the natural way of processing. They've done the wet milling, or even taken to Gold Rock to even do another processing or even value addition. But then this coffee of yours, how do we get to sell it to the supermarket? That's why there is the global trade item unit. Your coffee needs to be sold so that the demand increases so that you can supply more coffee as a nation, as a person, and also as an entity. But this information needs to be accessible to the consumer in a way that they're just, I need to know about my coffee. Let me just scan this specific QR code and then I'll get to know and understand it. And there is a sample of a QR code that you can take out your phones and then scan it and get to understand what you basically do in the fresh food sector. But whatever you're doing right now, make sure that you become as enlightened and excited as I am. And all of this has a benefit. You're not just doing it because it is it's just the norm. I mean, Gold Rock is already succeeding with the manual way, but they are willing to change to the digitized, traceable way. And you know why? So that their supply chain, information, operations, and processes can be visible. I mean, Mike already knows when I receive the coffee, I'll have to do 1, 2, 3. I'll take to the processor will do 1, 2, 3. The processor will add this information. This information will be shared to the buyer. But wait, what about the buyer, him or herself? At what point do they get to give feedback? Your coffee was so nice. So first, after giving this information about accessing different standards through a QR code, we get to share this information to enable supply chain transparency and visibility. This poses a very great concern for a good, safety, and also verifiable food data. If you can verify your food right now, if you can verify your coffee or that breakfast that you took in the morning, your coffee with mandazis or even KDF, if you can verify that information, who produced it, and that coffee information, and then you notice Gold Rock has been operating just behind your neighborhood, and you've never even visited there. I mean, that poses a question and a challenge to you. Today, ask the right questions as a consumer, because if you don't start taking food as medicine, you'll start taking medicine as food. So when you give you all this visibility of the supply chain and what happens to your coffee, you get to be assured of good food safety and quality that's being delivered to you. And when this is done, it is easy to comply with the regulations that have been posted out there. Coffee is a very critical concern when it comes to deforestation, and it comes to planting it besides tree, when it comes to inputs, specific inputs for specific cold seasons, specific inputs for pests and diseases, and things like that. It is so easy for even you out there as a company in-house to do hazard analysis. You are able to see at this point where my coffee gets in, what is the hazard that can be posed? Is it critical? Is it not? So it is easy for you to comply. When a policymaker comes in and then they say, we want to confirm if your coffee is well, it is easy for you to give them just a digitized system. That's a proof of what you've been doing. Loading your certificates online. I want to order your coffee. Can you share with me your EUDR certificate of compliance? So easy, just share with the consumer. So it is easy for you to comply and also to meet the policies set out there for coffee. Also, this enables operational efficiency. This means I'm able to know as a person is accessing the delivery of coffee, how much coffee was brought in, what quantity, who brought it. Because I'm just scanning a QR code on a sack. And then I pass it to the processor. The processor will think, maybe let me just take a little portion for natural. Let me take another portion for wet, another portion. So easy. The quantity is updated. The person who supplied, updated. The specific operative it came with, updated. So the operations are moving so efficiently. And that makes your work so interesting. You just get to focus on what you do best, processing, growing, giving us good quality coffee, because we will definitely give our feedback and we will tell you if your coffee is good and what you can improve on. And lastly, market will open up. I mean, when we get good coffee outside here, because Kenya, we don't take coffee consumption as a culture. When you get good coffee outside here, we get to recommend. I mean, we'll preach the gospel on your behalf. We'll open up the market. You'll get to process, get to grow it, and then you'll do the market gospel preaching on your behalf. You'll get a very big market access because you already trust your coffee. We can speak to you freely and tell you, by the way, is there a way that you can blend this coffee so that it gives me this specific taste? And then when you do it, I'm like, this person, let me give my friend the recommendation so that they can ask for something else because they know how to do it. Then it becomes so easy for even the coffee industry to move at large. I know this is now simplified. This is now interesting, exciting, and you're also so excited to see what you have done so far. And now I'd like for us to watch a small video on what you have done in the flowers sector, which is a little bit complicated because you have to trace every stem, and now you have to trace every sack in coffee. I mean, your book might be full, but you can write on the cover on what has happened on the flowers side so that you can get to learn more and ask the right questions. Thank you and enjoy.
I'm Samuel Chakara, the backhouse manager, Senior Roses Group, the main headquarters of Senior. Here we have 40 hectares of flowers. We're growing different varieties of roses. I'm majorly involved in post-harvest processes, all the way from harvesting, the way to the grading hall, and the way also to the market at the dispatch area. Isinya is a company majorly of 3 companies. We have Isinya, the main farm. We have Porini farm, there in Nakuru. We have a new farm called Ochoro, somewhere also in Nakuru, around Narok. We do roses, spray roses, garden roses, summer flowers, gypsophila, tomeria. We export all these flowers to many different destinations like UK, Netherlands, Norway, Australia. Yeah, so Isinya Roses is one of the farms in Kenya that is really exporting its flowers at least maybe in a year, not less than 10 million stems to Europe and Middle East. Currently, our processes of traceability, we start from the greenhouse where the flowers are harvested. Now, immediately after harvesting of the flowers, it is checked, the quality aspects. After checking the quality aspects of the flowers are then wrapped up, counted as per the length and the varieties that are coming from different greenhouses, because we have around 30 greenhouses across the whole farm. Then the flowers are counted. In our current system, we are doing it manually, count physically. Then there's someone who writes a small traceability and puts on the sticks on the net just to be able to check on the intake when the flowers come. Then when the flowers come at the intake, we have some people there to cross-check and count, again to verify that the figures that have been given from the production area is accurate. Then after that, now the flowers will come to the grading hall, where we will also grade as per the orders, and then of course pack them, and then dispatch to the customer as per the customer requirement. In terms of now implementation of QR code, the senior process is prepared, and now that it has started with the honey section, it's now preparing to enroll. Starting from the main farm, senior process, we are going to implement, and the way I said before, we've already started by training the staffs. So already the staffs are aware of what is supposed to be done all through the process. And then number 2 now, it's now trying now to implement it now from the process side. all the way from propagation to the production area, the grading, and all the way to the market. And then after that, now we'll be able to enroll to other sister farms, Torini, like Colchero, and there's a new farm coming up also in the next maybe in September. Then we should be able to implement all this across all our farms. The reason to make sure that our accounting and the stock take is easier, and also monitoring is also done well, and also reduce some time wastages of taking the stock across all the farms. So far, like I said before, we've already implemented it in the section of honey. Can say it has been working very well for us, because one, we've been able to minimize on time wastage. That is when you do physical counting, you take a lot of time to count. Then it has also improved on the stock take. So it's very easy to be able to monitor our stocks, yeah. And then number three, it has also been able to minimize the paperwork. So the paperwork has reduced totally, and I think it's really a positive thing on our side. Now, at least after interacting with GS1 team, I can recommend that the QR code is something that any other farm that is willing to expand on its business to implement in their farms, as this one is going to help enhance their work, their efficiency, and also minimize on time wastage, get accurate stock records, and be able also to have the process flow very smoothly across all the system all the way to the market. So I will advise that any other farm across Kenya to embrace this by starting from the training of the employees up to the point of implementation. It's a good thing to do, and it's going to help the farm and the organization to move to the next level.
Thank you so much for watching that beautiful video from Isinya Roses. And now the time has come for us to act. A lot of lessons, a lot of questions. The curiosity is spiked right now. But you know what? You can't just sit there with all that knowledge. You have to act. And that is why, as you've seen from Isinya Roses, it is so easy to implement traceability. Such an ambiguous word, viewed from different perspectives. Compliance and policymakers view it as compliance of regulations. Farmers viewing it as digitization. Processors view it as digitization. And us consumers viewing it as access to data. We view it as engagement with the products that we get to consume every day. Our experiences, our feedback. Therefore, it is time for us to act. This means that you, as a farmer who has been relying on your memory, scribbling notes, or even writing on your hand, because I know when you walk around and do the scouts, you get to write something on your hand. By the time you get to your home place, you've already washed that hand because you touched mud somewhere. It's time for you to digitize that information. You have to call us, let us know where you're located, for us to come and meet you in a respective farm. For us to understand your operations, let us be in your shoes. Let us enable you in whatever you do. In a production, it is so easy as it sounds. I've been here in operational for 25 years plus now. And then here as a farmer, I've just been viewing traceability as a threat. But from my discussion and presentation, I know that now you have a lighter view of it and you're so willing to let us in. So call us today so that you can come and visit your farm, enjoy your fruit and the fruits of your labor, because they're excited to meet you already and we can't wait. As a cooperative who is receiving this coffee, you meet different farmers, different bulks of coffee, different grades, variety, different processes for that matter. You have to decide, which farm am I going to deal with? Who is harvesting more? In what region are they located? But then you get to write all this information on your book. Why would you do that? You already have a system, a digitized, fully digitized system that's here to enable you in what you do best. Production, value addition, name it all. I mean, instead of you getting that book out and write something about a farmer, just scan that QR code. Call us today, let us know where you're located. Let us help you manage your farmers where they are. Is it in Mombasa, Murang'a, or even Nairobi, or even Makueni? Because I know 33 counties are the ones we are able to produce this coffee, Arabica coffee. I mean, let us understand your production and also the people that you encounter every day, the processes, data that's shared from one person to the other. I mean, you don't have anything to lose. Just a little investment in a scanner. And I know that you already have the computer, so it is so easy for you to just scan, input that information, push it to the operation, input that information, share more information about quantity and the farmer who brought it, input that. So easy, flawless, seamless. It just makes sense. So give us a call today, or we're going to be calling you soon. You better pick that call because you are here because traceability is here and we have to make it work for you to enable your operation. So it is not a disruption in every way because you're here to enable and understand your operations and how you do it. Here's the processors. You get to do value addition, you roast, you grind, you get different sizes. Size E, size A, grade E, grade AA, grade AB, grade T. I mean, why wouldn't you let us access that information of the coffee that you have? The specific coffee that tastes different when it is slightly roasted or even dark roasted or even medium grounded. We'd love to know more about you. As you've seen, Gold Rock already offers the barista classes. So let us also learn from your products. Let us experience this coffee that you're selling to us. Let us interact with you, give feedback of how sweet your coffee is, of how good your processes are, and how we'd like for us to partner. Call us today because we'll be knocking on your doors very soon. And as soon as today, by the way. In fact, as soon as I'm done with this presentation, I'll be reaching out to you. For the exporters who are majorly focusing on the quantity, quality, and the grade, wouldn't you be excited for you to just make a phone call, see processes, and verify all the information that you have gotten at the back of your desk for you to ask an entity information? Is it possible for me to get a different variety? Is it possible for me to get my coffee for roasting? Would you advise otherwise? What do you suggest? Can we partner? Can we have like a long-term business partnership? Because recently we had a coffee investor in the country. They were so excited to see how processes that we have been partnering with are so seamless, traceable, and they're even able to share this data with them because it is data that can be accessed easily and they deserve to have it. So you as the exporter, ask for these traceable systems. Ask for the legibility of the coffee farmer that you're working with, the inputs, the quality, the grades, other alternatives that you'd like to know about an entity and its coffee. You push for demand because you're basically the bulk buyer. You push for demand. If you place in the demand for us, it makes the work easy for us because we are here to go to meet different farmers and let them know that there's this thing called traceability. It has been happening and it is your turn. So ask for it. We're here to support you in the same. For the policy makers, you make the rules, you regulate, and you make agriculture as a sector move. How about we get to partner on this specific solution that you have, and my colleague is going to present a Shamba Econet. And for you to also be policies that enable implementation of traceable systems, even GS1 standards. So simple, identifying the location, the person, the entity, and this information gets to the consumer. Because if we get to partner, we get to request for the same, if we get to push for the same, it makes it so easy for the people who have already embraced technology to feel like they're in control on what they do. And if you feel like you're in control on what you do, you get to give it your best. You get to produce more as a farmer. You get to do different blends as a processor so that you can get to access it. I mean, Even don't ask, just say, come in, sign, let's get this going. Because if you push for it, I mean, we are here to enable that. And finally, the consumer, the person who drives all of this traceability chain for visibility, for seamless operations access. Why are you not asking the right questions? Why are you not concerned about the food that you consume? Why are you not concerned about the coffee that you get to intake? And if it is good, how much can you take? What if there's something else that you can do with coffee? Maybe do value addition on biscuits, maybe coffee blended biscuit, biscuit infused with coffee. That's the right term. As a consumer, how do you get to prepare your coffee? Things like that are just put out there if you ask for them. Ask the right questions today. Pose it to the people who manufacture this coffee. Process it. What process did my coffee go through? I mean, people are willing to share this information, but we are not taking heed on how to ask for it. But if you and me get to ask for it today, we'll get to receive it. So the farmers, cooperative, exporters, processors, policymakers, and consumers, the field is now yours. We'll be knocking at, because I am a consumer. You as a policymaker, exporter, processor, farmer, you are also a consumer. Even if you don't get to consume coffee, you'll consume something else. And that means you'll need you need answers to the questions that you have about the food that you consume. So let us ask for these questions right now. Let us not wait for a tragedy to happen so that we can be there on our heels, blaming so-and-so did this. Because we are not here to look after each other. We are here to look out for each other. Let every person in this supply chain do what they need to do seamlessly so that when it gets to me as the consumer, I'm just happy. I'm like, but they drank coffee from Moranga today. Tomorrow I'll order one from Kericho. You see, it sounds so interesting. We're having the meaningful conversations. And now that I've shared everything about coffee supply chain, now that I've given you the questions to ask today, and I've given you the jumpstart, the kickstart to say, I need to know where my coffee is coming from. But there, the gospel is now preached. Preach it on behalf. Enable us to get as many followers for this gospel. Because at the end of it all, it is easier when you get access to verifiable information, sweet coffee, processors information, processing operations, and even you as a consumer to embrace technology as an enabler in what you consume. So thank you very much for listening to my brief presentation, and I can't wait to knock on your doors. In fact, I'm coming to your doors right now so that you can get to converse more about this. The policymakers, I'm addressing you. The consumers, call, ask everything about traceability. I'm here. And GS1 Kenya at large is here to answer all those questions. Do you have a specific interest in any agri-food? I mean, ask the right questions. Nutritional value, expiration date, lot number, processes, inputs, activities when they were done, seamless, and you're going to enjoy consuming whatever you consume and appreciate it at large. Because at the end of it all, if we enable what you are doing, we are not posing as a threat. We are posing as a person who is there to make it happen. And finally, I appreciate so much for joining this presentation and learning a thing or two about coffee. And above all, you're going to meet my colleague, Felix, who is going to show you how we are practically doing it here at GS1 Kenya. So thank you so much. I can't wait for your calls. I'll be knocking some of your doors very soon. Let us meet outside and let us make this happen. So thank you and welcome, Felix.
Thank you, Rhoda, for that presentation on traceability in agriculture. Now let's talk technology. The big question: How does technology support traceability in agriculture? I would like to start by showing you a short video that will illustrate some of the modern technologies that are being used at the farms. Here it is.
Producers in agriculture today want the very best technology to make their operations as financially and environmentally sustainable as possible. ARDEC is a flagship for research in advancing agricultural technologies at Colorado State University. For example, we are exploring agrivoltaics, mixing renewable energies through solar fields with agriculture. Drones allow us to quickly and accurately measure and monitor crop and livestock systems in ways that we've never been able to before. Soil moisture sensors and precision irrigation give you real-time information that allow us to apply precise amounts of water to match crop and soil type needs. At our livestock unit, researchers are using advanced sensors to quantify how different management practices and feeding techniques affect methane emission from cattle. Colorado State's land grant mission calls for education, research, and extension. And the technologies that we're using at ARDEC help us extend that mission. And we're proud to continue to do that work now and in the future for agriculture to be successful.
I hope you got good context on some of the new technologies that are being applied in agriculture. Now, I would like to introduce to you Shamba eConnect. Shamba eConnect is GS1 Kenya's traceability platform for agriculture. It is also the farmer's digital link to the market. I'm going to illustrate different ways in which this technology that we've built supports traceability in agriculture. Shamba eConnect has unique identification for different entities in the agricultural supply chain. Farm hubs, which are farmer groups, together with farms, are identified using GS1 standards, the global location number. Farmers and workers are identified using the GSRN, which is the global service relation number. Orders on the platform are identified using the GDTI, which is the global document type identifier. Assets and farm tools are also identified, and we're using the global individual asset identifier and the global returnable asset identifier. Shamba eConnect also has features for the generation and printing of scannable labels. These labels are at the same time used to add information onto the platform. I will illustrate this later on in the presentation. Shamba eConnect supports the flow of information among stakeholders in agriculture, starting from the producer, who is the farmer, all the way to the consumer. Let's go on a journey. I would like to use this journey to illustrate how our platform, Shamba eConnect, is implementing traceability in agriculture. First things first, as we get started, we need to get you onboarded. First, you need to get onboarded as a GS1 member. And after being onboarded as a GS1 member, you get to register on the platform. For the journey, I'm going to use avocados. We want to grow avocados, but using Shamba eConnect so that we can trace it. To start us off, we need to create the entities on the platform. When you join as a farmer, you need to create your farm. You need to add the farm inputs that you're going to use. You need to add the workers and the farm tools. Once we have all this information on the platform, we can now plant our crops. In the case of avocado, we have our seedlings and we want to grow them. Once we get our seedlings, we need to plant them, and then we use the platform to update this information. The information that we're going to update concerning the seedlings is farm inputs. This consists of everything that we're going to add on these crops: fertilizers, pesticides, and any other thing. For farm updates, these are the activities that we note down as we go around the farm during inspections. How was the weather today? Was it different? Do we need to note it down? Did we note any form of pest infection or diseases on our crops? Next is farm activities. The farm activities that we're going to note down are things such as harvesting, if we do weeding, if we do pruning of the crops, all this information is added at the same time. Once our crops are growing, they're ready for harvest. At the harvesting stage, Shamba eConnect has modules that support adding of the harvest results. Harvest results can be recorded per farm or as per the individual crops. In our case of avocados, the farmer gets to scan the tree and they input the amount of harvest that they've gotten for that tree. The next stage, at the harvesting stage, we're able to input the information at the same time, and with the use of QR codes, the farmer is able to scan and update this information. I would like us to participate in an activity. In front of your screens, there's a QR code. Kindly take out your phone and scan it. After scanning, on your screens, you should be able to see information on the crops that you're currently growing. You'll be able to see elements that enable you to add information that I've mentioned, the inputs, the updates, and the activities. If you tap on any add button on your screen, you'll notice that verification is needed. This is a layer of security to ensure that only the right person, or rather the farmer, is able to add information about that crop. Let's move on. After we've harvested our crops, they're now ready for the market. Shamba eConnect supports aggregation of produce, generation of labels, and ensuring that these crops are ready to get to the consumer. Speaking of the consumer, Shamba eConnect boasts a full-fledged marketplace. The marketplace allows farmers to add produce so that the consumers can order them from the comfort of their homes. How beautiful is it to order fully traceable fresh produce from the comfort of your home? Shamba eConnect Marketplace makes this possible. In concluding, I would like to welcome you to reach out to us so that we can onboard you on the Shamba eConnect platform. After onboarding you on Shamba eConnect platform, we will be able to handle traceability together and achieve the best. Thank you for being part of my presentation.
Kenya's story is deeply rooted in agriculture. Every day, millions of families depend on it for food, income, and opportunity. Agribusiness is more than an economic sector. It is the heartbeat of our nation, creating jobs, supporting industries, and driving economic growth. But in today's world, growing food is no longer enough. Consumers are asking important questions. Where was this food grown? How was it produced? Is it safe to eat? Can I trust its journey from farm to my table? The answer lies in one powerful concept: traceability. Recognizing this growing need, GS1 Kenya, through the Shamba eConnect, is leading a new era of agricultural transformation by helping farmers and agribusiness adopt GS1 standards to achieve end-to-end traceability, from the farm all the way to the consumer. To bring this vision to life, GS1 Kenya has established the Center of Excellence in Agribusiness at Sonic Fresh Farm in Makueni County. More than just a demonstration farm, the center is a living laboratory of innovation where global standards meet practical farming. It is a place where farmers, students, researchers, regulators, exporters, and industry stakeholders can experience firsthand how traceability works in real agricultural environments.
It's a great day for me to have signed this MOU. Most importantly, what I'm looking at is the impact on community and society at large. So much awaits us, and I can't be excited more than now. You know, I'm ready for it, and I'm looking at a bright future for especially the community around the farm, and even outside the farm also, within the county and the entire region.
The MOU represents the beginning of a 4-year journey, and whatever is going to take place from now is basically what we've been looking for, in that we bring our agriculture into the new world where the technology is taking place, from farm to fork. And anything put on plate, everybody can actually know where it came from. And I think this is a journey we've been looking for the last 4 years. And I want to thank Mr. Mailu here for having actually gave us one of the best farms I've seen, which is embracing the new technology. And this is something both of us are looking at. Within 1 year, we should actually be celebrating something big.
We are back, and thank you for staying tuned. It's very exciting that we're just from the Shamba. And thank you very much, Rhoda and Felix, for taking us through and understanding exactly what we need. Now we go to the media, and we want to introduce to you Stephen Owili, who has been at GS1 Kenya for more than 4 years and is the Assistant Manager, Digital Media and Content. Stephen, on the contrary, holds a degree in environmental health, but has a big passion for media. On the other hand, I get to introduce Ms. Marianne Wakio, who is the Assistant Manager, Editorial and Administration. She has been at GS1 Kenya for more than 6 to 7 years and is very passionate on communication, as well as many other things, including cooking. If Stephen was not really working a lot on media and a lot of things here, I think Steve and Rhoda would work together in terms of being the social media people, because his passion clearly would be able to see on the presentation that we're about to share. And if Wakio was not really doing a lot of the media things, I think Wakio would be traveling a lot in the world and looking and visiting many other places. Allow me to welcome on stage Stephen to begin, and Wakio will pick up from there. Stephen, the floor is yours.
GS1 operates under the GS1 competition law caution. Strict compliance with competition laws is and always has been the policy of GS1. The best way to avoid problems is to remember that the purpose of the group is to enhance the ability of all industry members to compete more efficiently. This means there shall be no discussion of prices, allocation of customers or products, boycotts, refusal to deal, or market share. If any participant believes the group is drifting towards impermissible discussions, the topic shall be tabled until the opinion of counsel can be obtained. The full caution is available via the link below, if you would like to read it in its
Good morning. I hope you are having a wonderful day. It's my pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for finding time to attend this session. Now, I'm going to do a presentation regarding the level of public awareness and how we can use this to build traceability understanding among the public. So, welcome to my presentation. During the week, we had an opportunity to go to the field so that we can talk to the people. We interviewed various people, all Kenyans from different walks of life, so that we can get to understand their level of understanding about traceability. And this was the simple question we asked them. What comes into their mind when they hear the word traceability? Interestingly, these were some of the responses that we got. The youth, leo ndio nasikia hiyo word translated to English, this is the first time I'm getting this word. University student, maybe it's being able to trace things where they started. We also had an opportunity to interview the boda person, and this was the interesting response. Kwangu ni tracking vehicles na kuzitrack ili zisiibiwe. Meaning, to me, it is just tracking vehicles so that they don't get stolen. And for the corporate employee, I think it is a government requirement and part of company policy. Last but not least, we also had to get this from a farmer, and this was it, ni kujua mazao yangu yanaenda wapi na nani anaye yanunua. Meaning, to know where my produce is going and who is buying them. So it is important to understand that from all these responses, one thing is out that is very clear. Few people know about traceability. However, very many people still don't know traceability and complying and the standards that are powering traceability. This leaves us with one question. The consumer is left out. And if the consumer is left out, what happens? Minus consumer into this, we will not have the opportunity to be able to make them understand the concept of traceability, because without understanding, adopting traceability will become very difficult. It is also important to note that the traceability should not be for the technical bit. It should also be to that person who is using the product, that person who is buying that product from the shelf. And that brings me to why GS1 Kenya Media exists. We exist so that we can try and ensure that we bridge this gap. When we bridge this gap, what happens? We will make the conversation simple, and when it is simple, the people can relate it, and when they can relate it, it is going to be very meaningful. To access this information and information to be powered. In general, we this gap so that people, the public, ability is really affecting their life, because we're making those informed decisions, which is important. Information out there so that people can understand. And how are we doing it? Number one, we also have the social virtual experience space. The public to adopt ability standards, empower the consumers with information, so that when the consumer is informed, the businesses will grow, because they will be able to buy what they trust. And when the consumer believes into your brand, it is a good thing for you. The next innovation, that is the first innovation, it is Traceability TV. Traceability TV is a YouTube-based platform, a television, that GS1 Kenya is using so that we can interpret and make the stories enjoyable to ensure that when these stories are visually appealing, the consumer is able to get them, and when they are able to get them, they can make informed decisions. How do we do it? Number one, we do it through documentaries. We create powerful documentaries, insightful ones that can give you that visibility, especially in regards to traceability, know what you are consuming, where it came from, and above all, we are also empowering consumers. Apart from documentaries, we also gather news from around the world, and the news that we gather is related to traceability so that the consumer can be updated, they can know what is happening, and they can be able to have an opportunity to interact with these stories, and above all, they will also be able to be informed. Lastly, we also share member success stories, and in this case, member success stories include, there are those people who are doing good work for traceability, or there are those people who are partnering with GS1 and other traceability organizations. They are doing good work. And through traceability, we tend to give this story so that people can be able to know what our members are doing and other partners are also doing to make this a movement. Above all, we are here to inspire through Traceability TV. We are here to inspire the consumers so that they can be aware, they can also build trust, and also make informed decisions. So in my next slide, I'm going to show you a video on Traceability TV in action.
Kenya is a land of opportunity, where tradition meets innovation. From the fertile plains of its agricultural heartlands to the bustling factories of Nairobi, made in Kenya products are finding their way to global markets. But in today's competitive world, it takes more than quality and tradition to stand out. The key to Kenya's growing presence on the international stage is traceability. Traceability allows us to follow the journey of a product from its origins to the consumer. It ensures that the highest standards of quality, sustainability, and transparency are met, building trust with international buyers. For Kenyan producers, this means a brighter future, one where their goods reach markets across the globe with confidence. For the Kenyan farmer, manufacturer, or artisan, traceability is more than just a tool. It's the bridge that connects them to the global marketplace. As international consumers demand more information about the products they buy, traceability provides the transparency they seek. It's no longer enough to just say your product is good. You have to prove it. Through traceability, Kenyan products can show their story, where they were grown, how they were processed, and the journey they've taken. This not only ensures safety and quality, but also allows consumers to make informed choices, confident that what they are buying meets the highest international standards. Behind Kenya's traceability success story stands a critical partner, GS1 Kenya. Through their global standards for barcoding and traceability, they empower local businesses to compete on the international stage. These standards ensure that products can be tracked at every step of their journey, from the farm or factory all the way to the global marketplace. GS1 Kenya provides the tools necessary to build trust in made in Kenya products. By assigning unique barcodes to each item, they enable businesses to provide the authenticity, quality, and compliance of their goods. These barcodes tell the entire story of a product, ensuring it meets the expectations of consumers and regulators around the world. But GS1 Kenya's efforts don't stop at technology. Collaboration is at the heart of their mission. By working closely with the Kenyan government, businesses, and international partners, GS1 Kenya is ensuring that Kenyan products can compete and thrive in global markets. Through these partnerships, traceability has become more than just a technical tool. It's a strategy for growth. It helps local businesses meet international requirements, giving them the confidence to expand their reach and the assurance that their products meet the highest standards. Take Kenyan coffee, for example. Known worldwide for its rich flavor, Kenyan coffee is now using traceability to expand its global reach. From the moment the beans are harvested to the time they are packed for export, every step is tracked and recorded. With the help of GS1 barcodes, international buyers can verify that the coffee meets quality standards, complies with regulations, and is sustainably sourced. This level of transparency builds trust with consumers, who are increasingly concerned about where their products come from. It also allows them to enjoy Kenyan coffee with the knowledge that it's ethically produced and safe, strengthening Kenya's reputation on the global stage. As the world becomes more interconnected, traceability will be even more crucial to the success of Made in Kenya products. By embracing traceability, Kenya is positioning itself as a leader in quality, sustainability, and transparency. And with partners like GS1 Kenya, the future of Kenyan products in the global marketplace has never been brighter. Made in Kenya is more than just a label. It's a promise of quality, authenticity, and transparency. And with the power of traceability, that promise is being fulfilled, one product at a time. Produced by Traceability TV in collaboration with GS1 Kenya.
So I hope you enjoyed the video. Besides Traceability TV, we are also using other platforms, especially the social media platforms, to deliver traceability content. GS1 Kenya is actively available in the digital space. And how are we available? We are on TikTok and we use TikTok to share short videos. We also have presence on Facebook where we have community engagement with the people. We also use Instagram to engage the young generation using visual storytelling and innovation highlights. We are also in LinkedIn by posting professional insights that are related to industrial leadership and also the news that is related to traceability. We are also on YouTube, the channel that is now having traceability casted live, that is Traceability TV, it is our YouTube platform. And lastly, we are also present on X. We are also using X to ensure that we have real-time updates and industrial discussions. In the next slide, I'm going to show you our TikTok channel to see what we are doing. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching that, and I hope you're going to subscribe and follow us on TikTok. Now, the next innovation having GS1 Kenya Smart Center. This is a reality platform that gives you that immersive and educative interaction, which is very impactful. How does it work? We are using it to show you GS1 sectors, what GS1 is doing in different sectors, and this can also help understand we are on traceability. Looking at standards, besides it, you can also experience the GS1 virtual platform at the comfort of your offices. And how? This is what you can do. You can do this by ensuring we can do this by ensuring that that you come and have an interaction with the virtual space. And virtual space also has got different things. If you are our member, if you are our active member, you will be able to get this and be able to interact with it, know how you can get your barcode. If you're this enthusiast in agribusiness, you will be able to see what you need to do in regards to traceability, especially in tracking and tracing. Just like the video I showed you about made in Kenya. And when you have that, what happens? You will be powered to know how your product can be traced and how you can access the international market. In the next slide, allow me play a video that is giving you a virtual tour of the virtual reality platform. And after the video, my colleague is going to come in to speak about the next innovation. Enjoy the video.
Thank you, Stephen, and thank you for that insightful presentation. So as we support business with GS1 standards, there's need to recognize that also knowledge is as important as its implementation. From the beginning of day one, we've had our colleagues discuss about GS1 standards and in relations to traceability and digital transformation in supply chain. But there's one key factor that we keep forgetting about it, and I would like to pose a question to our audience and ask yourself, and I believe majority of them are the brand owners who are our GS1 members. Do you normally ask yourself whether the consumer understands the journey behind the barcode and its safety checks? So today we're going to discuss another innovation as part of our communication strategy, which is the Tracker Media. And Tracker Media is our online publication that basically is to inform, educate, and also highlight some of the innovations or some of the emerging trends that are taking place across the supply chain. Some of the key sectors that we cover on the Tracker magazine is focused on retail, healthcare, traceability, transport and logistics, agribusiness, and technology. We also give opportunities to industry leaders to be able to share some of their business journey or other business experience, and also share some insights when it comes to supply chain. And also we do feature stories for our members who are able to share the story when it comes to the implementation, GS1 standards, and probably when they launch innovations in their respective operations, we're able to share the story on the tracker media. So how is the tracker bringing value to the public, especially to the consumer and to the brand owner? So through consumer trust, when tracker publishes credible information about the importance of traceability, importance of product authenticity, importance of food safety and healthcare innovation, consumers are able to make informed choices during their purchase. We also support business to business and export partnership. This is whereby companies, we support businesses that have implemented GS1 standards in their respective business operations. And through this visibility, companies are able to attract business both locally and internationally. We also help companies build a market authority by positioning members out there, or rather industry leaders who share their business journeys with us. We are able to give them credibility and position them as implementers of GS1 standards. And through this, they're able to, consumers, or rather, they're able to attract strategic partners who can be able to reach out to them for businesses and to also help them to grow their operations. So the tracker is more than just a publication. It's a platform that connects GS1 standards with practical actions. So how does the tracker act as a dual-sided knowledge hub? As my colleague Stephen mentioned earlier, GS1 Kenya Media is playing a very key role when it comes to creating awareness so that people, members, or rather the public and members are able to understand traceability. They're able to understand the importance of they're able to understand the different key identification, or rather the practical application of GS1 standards in their respective business operations. So it is through educating the public that we are able to simplify some of these technical topics that are related with supply chain management. We are able to educate the consumers about traceability and GS1 standards. We simplify the complexity, or we simplify the technical information into a simple language that businesses and consumers can easily understand. And at the end, they're able to make an informed decision. We also help brand owners by giving them visibility. This is whereby when you share your story with us, we are able to publish this story, and we're able to give the public the opportunity to learn how the product came to be from the source to the end user. And through the tracker, brand owners are able to get a maximum visibility by sharing their stories, and also by highlighting some of the innovations that they have launched in their respective business operations. This makes them unique in the market, and also other businesses can be able to emulate some of these best practices through the brand owners. And also we also support industry development. This is whereby the tracker, as a platform, as a knowledge platform, we're able to share different insights. This could be from guest writers or guest contributors in different sectors. We normally give opportunities to different industries in such as agribusiness, industries such as healthcare, such as transport and logistics, to be able to share what are some of the current business challenges people are facing, and how the GS1 is playing a key role in enabling them to be able to adapt the GS1 standards and to make their business operation seamless. So we also give opportunity to industry leaders to be able, to highlight some of the innovation solutions that they've implemented in their respective operations, and being able now to position them as credible and industry thought leaders. as we conclude, I would like to invite every organization represented here to become part of the tracker community. Tracker doesn't end with just technology. It begins with awareness. So your story, when you share with us, we are able to educate the mass. We're able to educate other businesses on how GS1 traceability, GS1 standards and traceability is transforming the way we do our operations in a day-to-day. So I will take this opportunity to invite all of you, share your story with us, invite us for interviews. If you have any innovations that you're launching, invite us to come and cover your story so that we're able to publish it and also to share with the marketplace. So you can connect with us today by visiting our website, that is the tracker.media, and you can send an email to socials@thetracker.media and connect with us on our social handles at the Tracker. And before I end my presentation, I will kindly allow me to just give you a quick tour of our Tracker website and see what kind of content we are publishing and the areas, or rather the sectors that we are covering, and also some of the brands that we've been able to advertise on the Tracker magazine. And then I will invite my colleague Steven to cement our discussion, and I wish you all the best. I'm looking forward to partner with you in the next engagement. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wakio. So what happens when all these platforms are working together? Number one, we will have awareness. And when there is awareness, if the consumers, the public are aware, there is going to be understanding. When the consumers and the public understand information about traceability, they tend to trust the product. And when they trust the product, we are going to adopt traceability. So what we are doing is basically to ensure that we adopt traceability and ensure that it is adopted across all industries. But again, we should not also leave the consumer behind, because the consumer plays a critical role in completing the supply chain. So our platforms work together as one ecosystem. Every documentary, every social media post you see, the virtual experience, the magazine, the tracker, our larger mission for this is to build a transparent and safe ecosystem that is enabling traceability. And this journey cannot be achieved alone. As an organization, we cannot achieve this journey alone. And that is why we are asking you as our partner to walk with us through this journey so that it can be a very big impact. We can create a greater impact, that everyone can be informed, everyone can change their narrative, that traceability is a good thing. And how can we do it? We can do it by you sharing your traceability stories, those good things that you're doing within your organization, those success stories that you have on how you've implemented the 2D, how customers are able to scan the 2D barcode and get more information. Those are the stories that we need to get from you. We also need to partner with you regarding your public awareness campaign, especially for the product launch. If you're launching a new product, let us be part of that journey. Let us showcase that within the Traceability TV so that we can create an impact. We also need to collaborate with your in-house media. As GS1, we have our own in-house GS1 Kenya media team. We believe that you also have the same. So if we work together, we are going to create an impact. You can also help us in educating consumers, especially through the impactful storytelling. Like I said, your success stories, when you tell your success story outside there, it means that you are educating the public so that they can get that confidence. They can get that confidence of ensuring that they have a better knowledge of traceability. Last but not least, we also urge you to follow, like, and engage with our social media platform, the digital platform I've showed you, so that you can be able to see the impact of the traceability, what we are doing. We can also share. And when we come together, we believe that when people understand traceability, they can make better decisions. And when they make these better decisions, we are going to have a better, safe, and smart and transparent world. So as I conclude, I'm asking you once again, I'm going to give you 30 seconds just to go online. The people who are live on Traceability TV, we are giving you this opportunity to like, subscribe. If you are on TikTok, you can search GS1 Kenya. On YouTube, it is Traceability TV. I can see the likes are increasing. Thank you so much. Okay, that brings it to the end of my presentation. And thank you so much for taking your time to be with me. And thank you. I hand it over to the next person.
Thank you very much for joining us again. And we are on the last leg and we're just about to complete. But before we complete, of course, we will go back to the panel with my dear colleagues and my dear people who have taken you through. Of course, we had Rhoda, who took you through agribusiness and AI and what we need to do with that. And of course, we had mentioned she likes a lot to tap. So we asked you to continue tapping. And of course, we have Steve, who has just exited the stage, but is back on the panel with me. So Stephen is in charge of media and Rhoda is in charge of agribusiness. But before we get into matters of that, probably just a quick overview, Rhoda, in about 2 to 3 lines of what you had spoken about earlier, so that anybody who has joined us just now would have a quick recap in terms of this is Rhoda and this is what she had said. Rhoda?
Thank you so much, Eva, for that good question and the introduction. My name is Rhoda Mose, and I'm in charge of agribusiness here at GS1 Kenya. As per my previous presentation, I was speaking about coffee traceability, outlining what the processors are doing in regards to Gold Rock Enterprise Kenya, and also what we are doing as GS1 Kenya and our role in enabling traceability from the farmer up to the consumer in a very visible, reliable, accessible, and verifiable way. So my colleague joined in, Felix, so that he can explain how we do this using Shamba Econet, our agribusiness traceability solution that we basically implement with the farmer. We train them on how to use it. And to enable this, we majorly deal with our members who are in the agri-food chain, and also farmers who are in groups, so that it is easy for them to utilize the resources they have. And also it is easy for them to be trained on agribusiness traceability.
Beautiful. And I'm sure that summarizes it very well, Rhoda, in terms of letting us know about that. But Stephen, now you'd be able to also tell our viewers, because you just stepped out, so yours might be very shorter because Rhoda had to elaborate it. Maybe you'd let them know what we have actually just simplified to our viewers.
Okay, thank you so much, Eva, for the question. What we've simplified, just like I started the presentation, we went to the field to understand the level of public awareness. But indeed, the answers were interesting, and it is very clear that a few people understand what traceability is, and majority of them only relate traceability to an unrelated concept, and others don't know more about it. So that is what we are seeking to do at GS1 Kenya Media, so that we can bridge this gap through the innovation that we are having in the digital space. Thank you.
Just to continue, and a rejoinder to that question, Steve.
Yes.
So how can media help transform traceability from the technical terms that we've been hearing from day one, GLN, GTIN, from that technical concept into an everyday conversation that can be had in our houses, in the supermarket, in the shamba, in the hospital?
Okay. Generally, people like what they see. They want to feel it. And that is what media can be used to do. Through the videos, through the documentaries, we can use media to create that impactful story that relates to people, their day-to-day life. For instance, I'll give you an example with the GS1 Smart Center that talks about the GS1 standards. Now, there is traceable agriculture. In this in the same platform, you just wear the VR, it takes you to the farm, you go to the plant, you can scan the QR code. If it is in the supermarket, you can also scan the QR code and have the entertainment. By consumers getting this entertainment, they are able to interact with it. And by this, we are trying to make traceability very simple and ambiguous. Again, it is also important to note that media also focuses on everyone, all the stakeholders, be it the technical companies that are offering solutions for traceability, be it that consumers. So through media, we are able to bring all these people together and inform them using simple stories that they can understand and relate to.
Very interesting, and I'll probably continue now and give it back now to Rhoda in the line of agribusiness. And of course, now people will be understanding it in the media perspective. But now when I bring it back to Rhoda in terms of the communication, because we are still communicating. So what are the common standards that matter when sharing information, definitely across the food value chain? just the basic ones for our viewers and people who are joining us in to probably understand. And of course, with a rejoinder or something like that is the same question I asked Steve, I pose in terms of the standards and ask what would be the biggest impact in food transparency? That is still in that same line.
Thank you very much for that question. So on to the first question on the standards. Different value chains operate differently. This includes livestock, whereby we are able to identify up to what the animal feeds. When you go to the coffee and tree sector, we are able to identify up to the tree. When you go to fish and meat, we get to identify specific fish and the processes it has undergone. When you go to fruits and vegetables, we identify trees, identify seeds and seedlings and things like that. So for us to be able to share this information in a standardized way, we get to implement GS1 standards. The first standard being a global location number, which is basically used to identify the specific locations where these operations are: the farm, is it a fish pod, is it a feeding lot? We get to identify that location. We identify the product that you're dealing with, the final product. If it is processed meat, if it is a produce that has been value added, we identify that. We identify the farmer who handles these products, what they did to the products, the inputs used, activities when these activities were handled. Because when it comes to cases like maize, aflatoxin is such a crucial matter. So when you store your maize in a cold place and it is not well dried, it is very prone to getting aflatoxin, which causes a health risk. So we identify up to the products, we identify also the consignments. What are you using to transport these products that you're getting from the farm? How are they stored? How are they packaged? So that you are able to know that they'll get to the consumer well. So you as the consumer, who is the greatest driver of us to fetch this data for accessibility and verifiable backup transparent data, we enable the supply chain to be seen, to be visible, to be transparent for you, because you create the demand.
Yes.
Every person is a consumer.
Yes.
Whatever you eat today, whatever you eat tomorrow, you need to be sure where it came from, who handled it, and how it was handled. So the second question that you asked,
Yes.
the main aim of us
Yes.
coming up with these standards and
Yes.
the transparent supply chain is for us to enable trust. Whatever we eat, we need to trust where it came from. We need to trust that when we give feedback on what we fed on, it is going to be taken in a good way.
Okay.
We're going to get better feedback next time or better products next time. So we want to push for trust out there. We want to push for food safety, food quality. We want to push for consumer themselves and ourselves to also stand up for ourselves to ask the right questions.
Wow.
And also, basically at a larger scale, for the processor to be accountable in the processes they do, and the farmer to do what they have to do best, that is production, but in a best agricultural practice way.
Okay.
To hire the best casual workers, to have their products handled well, and also to share this information in a way that's accessible.
I agree with you, and I probably take a rejoinder on what you've talked about trust, because we're in a world where what we consume really builds us. It's just the same way as we were told on day one by Joseph Olo on computers. It's garbage in, garbage
out.
So it's the same thing as food. And probably now that is where the trust comes in. Somebody tells you, this is purely organic. But when you now get to the deeper level, you don't get to have it. And probably that's the reason why now Shamba Econet comes on board and being able to track and trace. So viewers, there you have it. You have an app that is calling. And as Rhoda kept saying, they'll be knocking and signing. So of course, I'll give and pose that same question to Steve. Now, how do we communicate that traceability that Rhoda is really articulating for in agribusiness? How do we communicate it now in simpler terms? Or how is Traceability TV doing this as the GS1 media to communicate that?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. What we do at GS1 Kenya Media is to get that story, give it a visual look, and make it interesting. Apart from the videos, we also create a virtual space that can make you understand how the traceability standards are working, especially in agribusiness and in action. Again, we are also using our social media platforms, especially the TikTok, among others, to communicate this information to the public. And by communicating this information, they are able to understand, they are able to make the informed decision about the product they are buying from the shelf or the services they are getting.
Okay. Now, still on that same particular question, now when the media comes involved,
yes,
how is the younger generation embracing understanding agriculture, probably being broken down in regard to media? Is it receptive, or it's something that is still considered as per the generational gap that has been there from the boomers, millennials, Gen Zs, and probably let us know how, because what we see a lot on media is not really much on agriculture. But now, Traceability TV is taking that step to educate and let people know that this is what we need. So what would be your reception on a scale of probably 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest? And how best do you think we can pull people in your generation and our generation and others to understand that traceability in agriculture is also something that can also be documented?
Thank you for the question. Over the years, the term traceability has always been technical. And when you look at the current generations we are having, people have few minutes to scroll TikTok to see what is happening. So we tend to simplify this by ensuring that the content we are having cut across all the generations. We have Instagram that we really use to engage the young generation because most of them are on Instagram. We also have TikTok. Through TikTok, apart from being technical, we try to relate the content we are having, especially in agriculture. We tend to talk about things like traceability, tracing the avocado. So we try and talk about such things so that they can relate it with the day-to-day life. And that has also worked for us. Initially, traceability has been technical, like I said, but now we've seen good response, especially on our TikTok platform and even on YouTube. We've had a conversation with the youth. We have a program that engages the youth on their perspective on traceability, which is something, by the way, it is working for us at GS1 Kenya Media, which I believe if we go that way, people will be informed, and if they have the information, they will accept, because we cannot just say that the young generation only have, maybe they love videos, but maybe we've not reached them. And that is why we have 4 innovations to ensure that we reach everyone, from the consumers, people who are running businesses, GS1 Kenya members, and everyone, including the farmer.
Oh, beautiful. I'll still pass that back to Rhoda and ask her, probably in your generation, because I'm sure some are watching and are wondering, is she really in charge of the software or of the shamba? But Rhoda actually goes to the farm on a daily and digs and probably follows on traceability. So on her other level, sometimes we call her mkulima mdogo, mkulima Gen Z. And so probably you'd also tell us in terms of the Gen Zs and them embracing this kind of technology, and is it doable? Is it working? Is it giving out benefits? And what would you encourage probably our farmers out here? Because the farmers always believe you have to have a conventional way of doing it. But what is your perspective in terms of Gen Z mkulima?
Now, let me tell you.
Tell us.
Okay. So, for the years that I've been working at GS1 Kenya, I've been exposed really in that we are no longer doing the farming at the shambas anymore. As Gen Zs, we have invented other ways of being practically involved. These include systems that links the farmer to the market. It includes agri-financing. You situate yourself in a position that if you're going to do anything agribusiness, the person financing such a thing will find you there. But this does not mean that we have scrapped out all the farming and all, because ideally, I'd like to say that we look at it in a bigger perspective. If my father was a farmer and now I am a Gen Z, And I know that she farms so much. You know, the way we are stuck on TikTok and everything of that sort. I'll just go out there and make it fun. Expose my father, because if he gets the money, I get the money. It's so easy.
It remains in the family.
It remains in the family.
Okay.
So we have tried to make this so fun because we are coming up with episodes called Utalii Mashambani. And this means that farming is no longer you waking up early in the morning at 5 a.m. so that the sun gets you out and then you're like sweating and blaming everything, the weather. Farming is going to be so interesting. You'll walk with us in this journey. You'll understand how to farm, how to even own the farm and get people to work for you. I mean, you can be good at something else like the systems. You can be good at getting the partnership. You can also be good at farming. You can try poultry. You can do livestock keeping. You can do fruits and vegetables, things like that. But we as Gen Z, it is true to mention that nowadays online, in as much as you are not that visible, there are a lot of agripreneurs coming up. So it is a good thing and you're headed towards the right direction with the aged people who are perceived to be the farmers are being replaced or rather enabled by the youth who are now coming in to show whatever way they are dealing with, organic way that worked for them. How is it possible for us to make the world view it from our level? So yes, we are also
Global and us has Vision 2030. So what is the one change you believe will have the biggest impact on food transparency?
Okay. The one and the biggest that we face right now, it's policy implementation. We as a country are policy insurance, not policy insurers. And therefore, the biggest impact that I will feel as Rhoda has asked that has come to make food transparency and food to grow in a good way, to grow our produce in a sustainable way, for us to also ensure the standards like GS1 standards are implemented. If I have my shamba in Makueni, this shamba of mine is known by a person who is based in London. They're able to see, because of standard ABC, I'm able to get a GLN from Makueni. So if I ask for this location, it will take me up to that shamba. So my biggest impact will be for this information that we are trying to pitch out there to make our production processes visible to the end consumer, for it to open up more markets, global markets for that matter, for it to showcase us outside there, make us visible, make us transparent, make us known, and above all, for us to produce in a quality way. Because
beautiful. What we capture from you is policies, is what will be the biggest change that we have. So this is a call in terms of our legislatures and probably people who are seeing us out there, and probably the people that we've partnered with. They have policies that they work with, and if they're able to just also accommodate the standards to include them into their policies. But of course, it begins from up there. And we've always been knocking the doors as GS1 Kenya to the legislature's doors and to the people who are relevantly involved so that we are able to fully understand them. And at this particular point, again, we do not continue without just giving a big shout out to Gold Rock. Thank you so much. Sonic Fresh, Axiom Digital, and the Senior Roses. This has truly been something very good. But of course, now we get to understand that they are on board because they have also included some of the policies that they have in terms of farming and embrace the GS1 standards, especially Gold Rock, Sonic Fresh, and the Senior Roses, for them to have traceability. So we already have people we are working with. And of course, Axiom Digital, comes in by giving us the hardware that they're able to work with. So definitely the policies come in, but it also calls for you, who's the farmer, you who's the member who's dealing in agribusiness products, to be able to accept the knock at the door, open, and then we get to learn. But I'll still now bring that the same question in regard to media, to Steve, in that same regard. What is the change that you believe in terms of media that will have a big impact for Traceability TV? Because that is now your dancing and playing ground, to make an impact in agribusiness, or to talk about traceability across all this behind us. What is the one thing that you think?
Okay, the one thing that I think is that when the consumers and the general public are aware about what they are eating, what they are buying, how was it made, the origin and all that, I believe this can make a very big impact in the traceability sector. And I believe through the media, once everybody knows that you can trace something and then they trust it, we are going to give a big impact, especially to the companies, the manufacturers, and everyone, and each and every stakeholder. So we believe that that point whereby we will feel that people now relate traceability as something that is affecting their day-to-day life. I believe that by doing that, by them knowing that, I think it will be a very big achievement for us, because over the years you've seen people look at traceability as something that has to be enforced. People only care about it when they are exporting, maybe to the European market and other markets, especially in agriculture, the compliance. But now we want to tell the public that apart from the exporters complying, you can also be affected if what you are eating is not traceable.
Okay,
Yes.
that's very good. And now probably just to understand, how can businesses and media organization work in terms of Traceability TV? So how can businesses, that is our members,
Yes,
work together to maintain that independence of media, but to be able to also tell their story? What would be your ask to them, apart from your presentation?
yes.
How will Traceability TV work? How will the tracker media, who Marianne was here earlier, how would they work with the business in terms of just three things? What would you need from them?
Okay. Thank you for the question. Number one, it is we who can tell your story, but you have the story. Now, the two of us, when we work together, you bring the story, then we do your story, we are going to create an impact. That is number one. And you can share your story through Traceability TV, which gives us documentaries, synthesizing traceability news across every sector. We also have success stories that is showcased on both Tracker magazine, actually, and there is also Traceability TV as well, that gives what our members are doing, that good thing you are doing, and you believe that it needs to reach very many audience. We are there so that we can help you, walk with you through this journey to help people know what you are doing. And when the people know what you are doing, of course, your products will always go because they will know what they are consuming. Number two, we also ask you to work with us in regards to the in-house media, because you are also producing good stories. So what happens? We can also air these stories. You can also come to Tracker magazine, publish the same stories, both as a write-up, and it can also come as a video. We also have the virtual space. The virtual space can also work, especially when you give us the content, be it in agriculture, be it in healthcare, your manufacturing process, does it follow traceability standards? We can make people get the feeling of going there minus leaving the comfort of their chairs. Last but not least, we will also wish that you follow our channels, because when you follow the channels, we are creating an impact. That does not mean that you're only following us. At GS1 Kenya, we always believe in partnership and working together. So by doing that, we also like back and ensure that we grow as one.
Okay, thank you so much on that. Now that is definitely your call out, of course. Now I'll bring back and bring of course, the negative bit that people don't normally want to talk about. Rhoda, what would be the challenge in terms of Shamba Econet getting to our members and our farmers? What challenges do you face across as you're trying to convince, because by the time we have Sonic Fresh on board, Mr. Mailu, by the time we have Mr. Michael on board by Gold Rock, by the time we have his senior Roses and working with Valentine and Axiom Digital, of course, that now moves to Joseph. But the three people, those are challenges that you might have encountered. Of course, Gen Zs normally say the weather, the things like this. But now we'll not talk about the weather. We'll talk about probably 2 to 3 challenges that you have experienced to convince them, because as you've said, it takes a while because everybody is used to the conventional farming. Wake up at 5 before the sun goes out. The one making food needs to bring food. What have you encountered on your journey that we have now managed to partner with several organizations? Just maybe 1 or 2, because we also have to highlight the negatives.
Okay, should I start with the weather?
Yeah.
Climatic conditions.
Boring nations. Let us know.
What? Okay. So the greatest challenge when it comes to technology, first, Shamba is the digital agribusiness traceability solution that you're offering out there so that it can help in your production, it can help in the processing part, and also in the distribution of your final end products to the consumer, so that the consumer is able to access all supply chain data in a verified and also easily accessible manner. So when it comes to challenges, the first challenge is most farmers operate in a small scale way. So they do the production for domestic purposes, and it is easier nowadays because the country has managed to bring counties also involved in the agribusiness sector. So the farmers, yes, devolution. So devolution is working. So that means that farmers are nowadays organized into groups. This enables the training, the capacity building, resource utilization, and things like that. But still, when it comes to system implementation, and you have to implement with a farmer and the products that they believe they need value for, it gets down to an individual person, unless the cooperative is registered and they have to make the decision on their behalf. The second thing is the lack of digital literacy. Systems are there to enable farming, to enable agribusiness and all. But then, if you're reaching out to a farmer who is based in a place that there is no network, they don't even have a smartphone, they don't know how to operate it.
That's the thing.
It becomes a little bit tricky.
I tell you.
But then, as I've said, the counties have made it possible, because you find in a cooperative or in a farmer group, at least one person has a smartphone.
Somehow.
Yeah.
If the network is not bad.
Yes, if the network is that. So that's two amongst the many challenges that we've come across. And also the view of systems when it comes to farming. And you know how the whole farming processes are. You're supposed to be in the shamba, you have to dig, you have to handle things that are muddy, do the pruning, carry baskets and things like that. So we are trying as much as we can to simplify for you to just scan just a label at a farm block or a block itself, so that you can get all the information and update it in real time.
If I hear very well, and our viewers, definitely acceptability is a big challenge in terms of them embracing this and change. Not very many people embrace change. I mean, you and I also just know that. So we are having the challenge of acceptability, changing, because people initially in areas that were coffee prone were building a lot of coffee, but now those have been changed to estates, and people are literally having houses that they're living there. So this is something that we are also be giving a call, as you've mentioned, in terms of the challenges in that regard, and we are grateful that you have highlighted that. So probably Steve, now as we are in closing, what would be your ask now that we are in the panel and having everybody involved in this? How would you want people to join the walk and the talk on traceability, and especially Traceability TV, in closing?
Okay.
And your parting shots.
Okay. Number one, we ask you to join us in spreading the message of traceability. And how do you do it? Walk this with us. You can reach us out at info@gs1kenya.org if you want to partner with us, and we can showcase your story. Number two, we also ask you to follow our social media platforms. Ensure that you have all of them. We'll be sharing this with you, and we'll also be reaching out, especially to our members and any other partner who is here. So don't turn us away when we come. We are just here to show what you are doing and showcase the good thing you are doing. So as I conclude, don't forget it that at Traceability TV, we trace it so that people can trust it. Thank you.
Beautiful. Rhoda, in 2 to 3 seconds, as a Gen Z, Maliza.
Okay, so my call to you as a consumer, always ask the right questions when it comes to food. I mentioned if you don't take food as medicine, you'll take what? Medicine as food.
That's true.
Beware out there of what you consume. Ask for the right data. For the processors, we understand that many of you embrace manual systems. But what if that which you're trying to encrypt in a manual way can be secure in a digitized way? How about you collaborate, we partner, and then you make it happen in a seamless way? For the policy makers, push for this, make the work easier for us. Let us be welcomed when you knock at your doors. Let us have these beautiful meetings about traceability and make it enable the farmers' work. And above all, we as GS1 Kenya can follow us on Shamba Econet. That is www.shambaeconet.co.ke. That is our website where you can access it. You can reach out to us, info@gs1kenya.com. And above all, I'll be making individual calls and follow-ups to see what you learned and how you're ready to preach the gospel with us. So let us walk this journey, let us talk, because we do have a center of agribusiness that's coming up. And we'd like for you to come, experience this in real time, see how we label the farms, the blocks, learn a thing or two as we do training there, and for you to understand whatever we are saying in a simplified manner. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And there you've heard it from my colleagues and people who have been educating you on media, print media, digital media. You heard it very well from the beginning, and rather closing it up and letting you know that you can still be a farmer from where you're seated and just smart family. And we're moving to agritourism. So sit and watch this space. This has been your session. And before we close, we would like to just tell you Traceability TV is the place to be, because as always we say, we trace it
so that you trust it.
Finally, the day has come to an end and we are back just to have the closing and kind of bit to just let you know on day 1, day 2, day 3, and now we are here. We have gone all the way from understanding the technical terms of GTIN, GLN, moving to farming, moving to the hospital, and finally now we went to agriculture and media that crowned the day. So before we continue, or as we have this closing, I have been your moderator and my name is Eva Buyu. It has been a pleasure having you. And we would not forget not to thank our sponsors, who I will hand over now to our CEO, Mr. Peter Otieno, to be able to close Traceability Week number 4. Karibu.
Thank you, Eva. Thank you very much for joining us. We are quite grateful for you to have been here for the last 3 days. 4 years ago, when we began this journey, we basically had a lot from you. And one of the advice or issues you asked us was basically, what more can GS1 do? Is it only about issuing the barcodes, or there could be more? I believe by now you've seen it in the last 3 years. We've been trying to innovate year and year after year. And this year we've brought you much, much more for you to use. Your membership is not only just to pay us the annual fee and then use the barcode. Please engage those our standards for your own benefit and improve the efficiency. Day 1, we learned about GS1 basics, which is normal. We need to know about our basics. We went through marketplace. And of course, the idea of that you move to 2D, it will be you, for example, to actually embrace the 2D so that you can get the benefit out of it. Yeah. Our innovation in that line has been 2, which actually we encourage you to use, the Soko Power and the Soko Chat, which are quite interesting. Let your business become 24/7, as Michael said. On day 2, we talked about the academia, the need of actually to get informed and be educated on traceabilities and GS1 standards. And Geoffrey Lowe took us on that line. And of course, we also look at the healthcare, where Nelson talked much about what is coming in. As you can know, the DHA, the Ministry of Health, the PPP, they're all creating standards under which will involve GS1 standards. We embrace, or we ask the members, our members who are actually in healthcare, to embrace this technology. And we've done a lot of innovation in that area as well. There's Wasomi AI, which is actually 24/7. Get to learn about us, whether you are working on a Sunday, on a holiday, or even during the night. You can actually get the information you're looking for. There's TBASASA, which is basically showing how the patient safety is going to take place. Please embrace TBASASA. You don't have to use the standard. You can come and learn from us and basically get this into your system using the APIs, which you actually also been shown. There's also the Thamani Dawa, which basically we want to express this, or we want to extend this to the pharmacies, both private and the public. On day 3, there's quite a lot of interesting which came out of there. There's our innovations. A lot of products we've actually come up with, the Datam, the Zebra Chart, the Baveri. For me, these 2, actually you can take them immediately. Zebra Chat will allow your business to run 24/7. You don't have to close the office. You can close the office and go back home and rest, but your business will be running through Zebra Chat. Of course, we are talking of the Baveri. This has been the biggest problem for most of you. You're losing a lot of money because you've actually printed your products and the barcodes are not working already. They're in the market. We see people come a lot here and say, what do we do? Can you get us temporary barcode to replace the one which has not been printed very well? We are now saying on your laptop, in your office, on your desk, you can actually log on to Baveri and verify this at no cost, very, very minimal cost, if not at all, because you already pay your membership. And please, this will save you a lot of money. We went to the farm as we close, and Rhoda and Felix took you through, and you've seen what we are doing in our Center of Excellence for Agriculture. Idea is basically the market is out there. You remember last day, the day 2, we talked about selling your product onto the Amazon or the Google Play stores or even the Alibaba. All these platforms will require you to have GS1 standard. And you are saying, why cannot Mama Mboga, a Kenyan Mama Mboga, sell into this platform? The only way to do this is through Shamba Econet. And this will give you definitely an edge over the world market. Last but not least, the media. All these things cannot be done without actually being exported somewhere else. The beauty is that we are not going to ask you a lot of money, basically to showcase what you have. And the thing is, it's not only in Kenya, this is actually across the globe. Our system runs totally within the world market. And for this, take this advantage and use of it. Please reach to us. See how best we can actually expose you into the world market. And with this, I want to thank you once again, and I'm looking forward to see you next year with even better, more standards and better, more system which you are putting in place for you. Asanteni sana na mubarikiwe. Please, this is officially closing the week.
Whoa, GS1 Kenya! From the farm to every family, from the clinic to every home, GS1 is building trust so every product can be known. Standards guiding every journey, AI leading every way. Together we're transforming lives, building a brighter day. Oh, GS1 Kenya, renovation, lighting the way. Traceability for tomorrow, building trust every day. Together we stand, together we grow. With AI and GS1, we're shaping tomorrow. Tiba Sasa keeps healthcare safer. Shamba Connect grows every farm. Local model shines with talent. Wasomi gives knowledge its charm. Vumbuzi AI sparks innovation. Hakikisha Bida builds our trust. GS1 Care Pit powers businesses, helping every venture rise with us. Tamani Butchery quality assured. Tamani